Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
Greetings everyone and welcome to Midnight's Edge in the Morning. We are reaching the end of August here. It's the middle of the week.
Wow.
And I'm here with Paul. How's it going, my friend?
Pretty good. I'm happy. I've got my baguette with Port-Salut cheese and a prune. How's that for lunch?
I think that French Canada is proud of you.
We lived on Port-Salut and cheese and baguette and French beer. Corked French beer when we went to Paris, maybe 20 years ago. That was fun.
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, Paris is not so fun anymore, I understand.
Well, I think that depends a lot on where you are and if
True.
you're able to get away from the afternoon riots or not. Though I shouldn't complain too much, as stabbings and riots are becoming pretty normal all over Europe. We can all thank our labor parties for that. So yay, fun stuff. But hopefully we'll have some more fun right here. It's me and Chato for now. Tom should
We'll have lots of fun.
Along. And we'll have lots more people joining us. And regardless, we're going to have loads of fun, just the two of us. And of course, all of you guys who are watching out in the crowd as well. We have Kaladin is here, Malice Flit is here, Fletcher Williams is here, who will also be on Midnight Chess Espanol later. This stream will redirect to there, so just be there for that. We have Penny is here, Shrap3D is here, D-Bud Martin is here, Jill Powers, the River Daughter is here, and many more. And we're so glad to have each and every one of you. Please smash that like, help share this stream, let everyone know that we are indeed live right now. And we also have a couple of super chats to get us started. And Graham Silla, for instance, he says, films in December are doomed after the Sonic 3 trailer. Paul, did you perchance have the time to check out the Sonic 3 trailer?
I did not.
I kind of expected you would say that. But either way, yes, I checked out the Sonic 3 trailer. It seems to have the fan base very, very excited because it has Chato and it looks awesome.
Wow.
I am, of course, a fan of Sonic, but here's the hedge. I'm a fan of Mega Drive era Sonic. And after that, I didn't really play much. So Chato and all of these other characters, I'm not really familiar with. I'm very happy for the fan base, for those that did grow up with those games, that they appear to have done it right in the movie. The trailer does look fine, so I'm looking forward to the movie. As far as I know, the movie comes out on the same day as Mufasa. I would have hoped that one of them is going to move, because otherwise they're going to, I'm not going to say they're going to annihilate each other, but certainly it's going to be...
No one's going to go see Mufasa.
I actually do think that Mufasa is the one that's going to lose more in that matchup than does...
well, you know what? The Lion King still has a good brand. Maybe they'll go see it. Now, just as far as Sonic was concerned, I was not a Sonic player. I was a Crash Bandicoot player. I'm sorry.
I was about to say Sonic came after your time, but then again, Crash Bandicoot came after that. So probably Sonic was like just that time in between when you weren't a gamer.
Well, I mean, Sonic was kind of the Sega
Yeah, the
version.
Sega Mega Drive, that's Genesis in North America
No,
for
but
copyright reasons.
Sonic was around before the Mega Drive. Sonic was kind of
No. Sonic was invented after the Mega Drive.
Really? Well, I mean,
Yeah. Mega Drive came out in
the Luigi
Japan in
Brothers.
1989. Sonic didn't come around until 1991. Sonic came around the same time as Super Mario World was released. So long into the Mega Drive / Genesis life cycle.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. I wasn't a Sega. I played Sega coin-op games, but no, I was more into Crash Bandicoot. Although, and I wasn't really much into the Mario Brothers either, because it drove me nuts, this whole notion that you just jump up into the middle of nothing and get coins. Really? I got to remember where to jump in the air to get coins and blocks and things? No, I can't. I'm not going to do that.
The funny thing with those games is that if you just learn the pattern well enough, you can actually break the entire game blindfolded.
Yes, but I'm not a pattern guy. I'm really bad at that. I mean, the people who played Ms. Pac-Man and all that stuff, they did patterns, right?
Yeah, it was all about patterns.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, but if you are conscious about learning the pattern, you can in principle learn to break all of those games blindfolded.
Yeah. I wasn't a very good pattern. I'm not a good pattern guy. I'm a good by the seat of their pants guy. I'm a good RPG person because I solve puzzles. That I'm good at. Because I'm also good at what is called gamer flailing, where you just keep trying different things in some kind of order that makes some kind of sense to solve
mashing, basically the equivalent of that.
Yeah. Not thrashing per se. Thrashing kind of denotes someone who tries everything without any kind of semblance of logic. I wasn't a thrasher. So
yeah. All right.
No. I'm glad for Sonic's extended career in the movies.
Yeah.
They never did a Crash Bandicoot for the movies, did they?
I'll give it time. I'm sure they will get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a known enough brand that once they get down the list and they just exhaust more and more IPs, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an animated Crash Bandicoot at some point.
You know what would make a really good movie, I think, is Banjo and Kazooie.
Isn't there an animated Banjo and... No, I'm thinking of something else.
No, there's the game. I don't know if there's an animated version, but I mean, they're buddies. They help each other. Maybe not. It doesn't necessarily need a movie, but an animated TV show, Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh, there's so many things.
I love that game.
Era.
Those two games were absolutely brilliant.
From that era. Well, I'm glad that you're talking video games, because we may be talking a little bit more about that as we go along. We have Star Wars Outlaws to discuss. We may be talking some Dustborn, depending on which guests show up. So that should be fun. Meanwhile, Mephisto's movie review says for $15. Join me in Culture Casino this Saturday as we cover Showgirls. And then switching over to his channel to celebrate his 25K muscle. Oh, Showgirls, yeah. Culture Casino is absolutely the man for that. And courtesy of me, he has the definitive version of that movie as well. So, yeah, there's that. And then Dr. Longdongler sent us a super sticker, just reminding everyone to please smash that like and help share the stream far and wide.
Smash and like you.
He has been a member for 23 months, and we are glad to have you. And while we are on the topic of games, before we get into the proper topics here, Tomok says for $20 with the DS Castlevania collection coming out yesterday's. What do you guys think of that port job?
Well, is that... I don't know whether that was a game or not. I know the anime. I'm not a huge Castlevania
Okay,
fan,
Okay, fine. Castlevania is a game franchise. That's how it started.
and then it became an anime.
Yes, it became an anime much later. It's a fairly big deal for Nintendo in particular, and later for the Sega Mega Drive, and even for TurboGrafx 16, and then PlayStation and everything else after that. And then much later came the games. Now, as for the Castlevania collection, I haven't had time to look into it, so I honestly don't know. I regret that I won't be able to answer that any further. I was hoping that maybe Paul would know a little bit more about it, but since you didn't know Castlevania was games to begin with, the answer to that is obviously no.
My gaming was mostly in television and Commodore 64. That's where I was in the early years. And then when the PC came out, I was doing Infocom text adventure games, things like that. So that whole Nintendo era, for whatever reason, that I had no interest in.
No, I don't blame you for that. But anyway, I haven't researched this collection. All I will say is that I hope that it is complete and that it has every game in their original format, and that the hardcore fans are super happy about it. And if it can do that, then great job, and fingers crossed that it did just that. And ActionCom, speaking about gaming for you, says, Chato wants to relive his youth. Pong movie in black and white or nothing. Maybe Qbert.
Totally. No, you know what? It's not in black and white. What we do is an overlay on the TV.
Exactly.
That actually gave the TV color.
So basically, that's what you really want then is a Pong movie in black and white, but that comes with an overlay that you put on your TV screen. Now there's a Netflix special right there.
Or you wear special overlay glasses in the theater instead of 3D or whatever. Now, what's interesting about the first Pongs, which I think most of you knew, is that the Magnavision, I believe, got sued because it burned it burned your tube. The game got burned into your CRT, into your TV. Kind of wrecked it.
Well, later it was TV channel logos that did that, caused burn-ins on early generation LCD TVs.
Oh yeah, well, and then plasma
too.
You have to watch out for burn-in for plasma.
Yeah, especially plasma. I could never have plasma because I see rainbow. Whenever I watch like a traditional plasma scene, I see the rainbow, so I just can't watch it.
I have a plasma upstairs and downstairs because I prefer it, and I have a cheaper plasma in the basement, and you can see the shadow of the control, the parts of games that stay on the screen that show you how much mana you have, or how much weapon bullets you still have remaining. I have those shadows remain on the screen, and it's okay until you hit like a light movie where it's got some white parts in it and you can see the controls. It's kind of a drag.
We've never had these problems with CRT TVs,
Well, maybe the games just, maybe we didn't, well, we did play them a lot.
Oh, we did, absolutely. But anyway, yeah, different times and different problems.
The good old days. The good old days where you got a 37-inch CRT TV that required 3 to 4 people to lift into your house.
And it seemed so huge, that 37-inch TV.
It sure didn't it? Didn't it seem like it was, oh man, that screen is huge. Oh, you had the top of the line was always the Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi was the best.
Yeah, you needed bodybuilders to carry that into your house.
Yeah, things have changed, and in not that long a time,
Yeah. What I find the most interesting, though, is especially when it pertains to video games, is that traditionally video games had to be completed before they were
Oh, yeah.
released, because once they were done, then they were done. You couldn't do anything more.
No.
There was no patch or anything like that. You would put it out, and then it would be done. And that actually brings us up to the very first topic that I had planned while we waited for the rest of the panelists to arrive here. Here we have Tom already. Morning, Tom.
Morning.
I'm sure many people have, and many people have gone pretty far in the game as well when PlayStation 5 users were suddenly greeted with a message that, oh, we have released a patch, and now you have to restart your game. You're going to lose all your progress. Which, of course, is the risk when you are a beta user and you're even paying for the privilege, because the ones most affected by this are those that paid a premium for early access. And of course, the patches and stuff are released during this period. And that is what happened. So, like so many other games, I mean, I would say that Star Wars Outlaws was broken, but I guess that's technically not correct. It was just incomplete. It's still in its beta format, and patches were needed, and the first patch has already been released. To the annoyance of PlayStation 5 users that lost all of their progress.
That makes no sense. Your progress is kept in an XML file or a plain old text file that's separate from, like, this is shoddy.
That at least was my understanding, but basically players were instructed to start an entirely new game to prevent issues and progression blockers after a new patch.
And progression blockers. What's a progression blocker?
Well, I imagine that that's a game-breaking bug that you may not have encountered yet. That's going to block your progression, would be my best guess.
I mean, it's unusual to be able to load a file outside of the realm of your game, but you should have a list of saved files. People save previous games. Generally, that's not available to someone who's created a new game. Like sometimes you'll create a new game because you've got, different people playing a game, right? I mean, Ellis would have his progression and I would have mine, and I'm not too familiar. I can't recall if you can in a new game load a progression from a different instance. But on the other hand, it's just a bloody text file. I've made games. We've been making games. I mean, we used to make games a lot, and it's just not that big a deal. It's unless they've broken, just even being able to save. Maybe your save file method is different within the program. That's just dumb. This is silly. I mean, especially, as you said, if you've spent a lot of time in the game and you can't get back to where you were, it's going to piss off an awful lot of people.
That's why it's a story. It's pissing off an awful lot of people.
Wow.
And these are the people that, as I said, not regular users, but those that paid premium for early access, which honestly, I do not understand why anyone would do, where pretty much any and all AAA games are released in their beta stages, and then they're fixed and patched over the first few weeks of their release. I honestly do not understand why anyone would pay a premium for early access.
No.
But different strokes for different folks, I guess. I cannot say I have much sympathy with those that lost the program.
Well, and also maybe an incomplete game. I remember my son lined up for Destiny 1 at GameStop, and he was really excited, and he got it, and the first version was no real bugs in it. It worked quite well, but it had no story. you were just going around shooting things, and then the not the upgrade. What is it? What do they call it? The when you get not the patch, you get like a new story. God damn it, a DLC. So the DLC that came that you had to pay extra for should have been included in the initial release of the game. And my son just said, "This is bullshit," and he just put the game down and never played it. So there's those issues too with regards to how these game companies are now ripping people off.
Yeah, this is a big reason why I'm, to the extent of which I'm a gamer, I'm a retro gamer, and
Yeah.
I'm not into these kind of modern games here at all, because I'm not a beta tester, and I'm certainly not going to pay to be a beta tester, to pay for incomplete product that gets released and completed over weeks and months.
Everything's like Cyberpunk was a dreadful mess. Witcher 3 was not, but I guess they just bit off more than they could chew with Cyberpunk. I thought, Code Red was a pretty good company until Cyberpunk. That was kind of a mess.
Yeah, well, there you go. We also have some early commentary on the artwork, the cutscenes, the design of this model herself, the point of view character. I forget her name right now, and generally people find her to look even less attractive in the released version of the game than in promo pictures and in trailers and early footage. So yeah, that's impressive. And also Packing Protons says to that then for $5, some of Outlaws looked AI generated. It was so bad, the clip I saw, which is a comment on just that. Yeah, now
I heard that.
I
heard that rumor. Now that's parts of it were AI generated. Overall, the review of the different biomes is quite good, and the fact that they introduced ones that have never been part of the Star Wars universe, which I'm actually in favor of. That's the kind of thing George would have done, right? He would have created a new place to go to. Every movie had a new place to go to. That's one of the things that the Disney people decided not to do. Although Rian Johnson had that one stupid planet that bled. But other than that, Rain Johnson, sorry. I'm sorry I mispronounced his name. I know he's now going to feel crushed that I didn't get it. He's yelling at the screen, "It's Rain! It's Rain Johnson, you bastards! Please get my name right, because I'm never doing another Star Wars again." But you know what? This, even with its problems, if they had made her look like the woman from Stellar Blade, it'd be a massive hit.
Probably it would, but sadly they did not think that way, did they? So
no,
yeah.
They're in the opposite direction. You can't do that. No male gaze. Male gaze is bad. Very
bad indeed. And there's not going to be much of that. Here you'll be getting the druggy gaze, and that's pretty much it. Because that's
so what else? What else are
like.
they saying? I mean, I think this game is not going to tank like the other DEI.
I don't think so either. I mean, like the number of early players, which are both the pre-release players and those that have keys, meaning influencers that are reviewing this, is a relatively high number of early release players. So we see how this one turns out. I don't think it's going to bomb the way that many were hoping, if we're honest, that it would. But we'll see how it progresses as things move on.
And you know what? They can do a patch and make her look pretty. It would take. I mean, and I'm sure they got the files.
Or if they were going to, they would have done that before.
No, but look what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda, where all the girls looked absolutely horrific, and then they made a patch and kind of cleaned that up. They de-diked the game, if I can say that.
Well, you probably can. I think that the people behind this game would be very triggered if they heard you. But yeah, no, of course, anything is possible. I mean, we even saw what they did with Sonic in the movies.
Yes.
So, of course, it's possible. I do not think that there maybe is will for that, because I think this character looks this way by design.
Of course,
if they wanted to, they would do that. And also, GRN Raptor says for $5, imagine making a game so bad that Star Wars Theory gave up on it live in stream.
Wow.
While trying to give it a fair shake to go play another game. Well, this is the first I hear about this, but that obviously is not a great vote of confidence in the game. Maybe he encountered this bug that we're talking about right here, the one which they patched so PlayStation game users have to start a new game. Maybe he encountered some of that, for all we know. And Tommy Review says for $5, hello, Midnight's Edge. I played the new Castlevania DS collection, and it's just as good as the advanced one. The map and status screen show up on your main screen now. Well, awesome. I hope that is a good and wanted improvement, but it certainly sounds good. But let us move a little bit on from Star Wars, at least for the time being. We may revisit that when we get some more guests here. But Tom, you know what? We have another remake that I wasn't even aware of. You guess what that might be? Because Hypergiver knows, and he says, for $5, it seems we are doomed for more bad remakes, as I just found out about the remake of Deathstalkers. By the gods, I want out of this timeline. And Deathstalkers, of course, is one of the 80s sword and sorcery movies, and a Conan rip-off that both Tom and myself are huge fans of. You see, Tom is still in complete shock over this and has frozen. But we have it right here.
No, I'm not
Deathstalker. First image from Steven Kostanski's Roger Corman remake. Now, this is the first thing I see of this. I didn't even know that this was happening.
This is from 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's from 3 months ago, but I only learned about it now. And what it says here is produced by late Roger Corman. The low-budget sword and sorcery film Deathstalker was a hit in theaters back in 1983 and went on to become a cult classic through home video and TV airings, and was followed by 3 sequels between 87 and 91, 2 of which are on Blu-ray. Decades later, Deathstalker will return with a fresh remake, and Variety has shared a first-looking image from director Steven Konstanski, so that's where this is from. The website notes that the Deathstalker remake is now filming in Canada, so presumably it would be done by now, with Raven Banner Entertainment launching sales in Cannes. Daniel Bernhardt from John Wick, Nobody and Baddy will star as the titular Deathstalker in what's being described as a newly reimagined installment of the cult sword and sorcery series of the same name. Written and directed by Kostanski, Bernhardt will portray the barbarian who finds himself cursed by a magical talisman that draws him into conflict with a malevolent wizard and a clan of monstrous assassins. This is a few months old, but this is brand new to me. So, Tom, did you know about this in advance?
No. I don't know what's going on right now. How are you?
Those days.
We're fine here. Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing about it, so to register it.
And I don't know this IP at all. Never heard of it.
You know Beastmaster?
Yes, I know Beastmaster, of course.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Only this one is getting a remake, and Beastmaster isn't yet. And give it time. I would like to see. I would like to see some images of this. I don't love the image we're seeing here on screen right now. But again, it's a still. I'd like to see it in live action, and I'd love to see what the rest of the movie looks like and the overall direction taken with it. The guy has good arms, though, so that's promising. So fingers crossed that this is going to be cheesy fun, which is just what the sword and sorcery should be. And fingers crossed that this is going to be that. So yeah, I shall defer judgment for the time being. And Tom is having audio issues, so he shall also defer judgment for the time being.
I'm fairly certain that if they do any public interviews, they're not going to talk about the Middle Eastern War.
You know, I would, unless they decided to have like Rachel Zegler in the cameo or something. I also think they're probably not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
No.
I would certainly hope so. And then moving on from there, Psychotic has been a member for 23 months, and we are glad to have you. And Justice for Geo the Rock says for 14 South African runs on the topic of remakes. # remake Game of Thrones season 7 and 8. And yeah, I'm inclined to
reimagine. Well, I mean, unless Martin actually finishes the book and gives them decent material to work with, why bother?
You know what? I think that he did probably give them decent
finally?
material to work with. Yeah, they had a synopsis. The problem was that they decided to rush it because they had a Star Wars project to get through. That's why they rushed it. It wasn't his material that was the problem. It was their execution of it. But we have more people joining us behind the scenes here.
Hey,
we have Mike, the Mexican Iron Man. How's it going?
I was sitting here doing taxes, listening to the show, realizing that I cannot allow this patriarchy and these white crackers here to espouse their patriarchy across the globe. And I'm here for diversity reasons only. Yep. Hi, boys.
Yeah. Hey, would you like a remake of Game of Thrones season 7 and 8?
No.
Well, simple as that.
Let it go.
No.
Let it go. And Justice for Geo the Rock also has some Skydance and Paramount news, but we'll wait until Tom gets his tech issue sorted with that, because he may have some more information on that as well. Willie Doc says for $5, Paul, are you familiar with the World of Warcraft meme of Leroy Jenkins? I bet you play games like him, LOL.
I have played a lot of World of Warcraft, but I don't know the Leroy Jenkins meme. My son is the king of memes. He's the one who finds all these things. Now that I'm kicked off of X, I don't really see anything in the way of memes. So sorry.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it'd be like that. That's what we have family for. And Backing Protons also has thoughts on the Mitsubishi TV, saying for $10. Our 80s TV came in a huge cabinet with 2 speakers and 2 flip-top panels. On the left was a record player, on the right was a recordable 8-track. And I think our VCR was a Quasar. Never should have ditched it. Yeah, right, you are. Never should have. Too bad if you did.
I remember Quasar, the works in a drawer. Quasar. Yeah, back in the day when Americans actually made their own electronics. I used to buy Heathkit radios and receivers and build them. Those were fun. That's where I learned how to solder or solder, depending on.
That's something that I unfortunately never have learned.
It's fun. I mean, it was so much fun. I taught my son how to solder, and he's doing that with the stuff that he's doing, fixing cars.
Yeah, exactly. Always good skills to have.
Tried to teach my daughter. She wasn't interested in that stuff.
Yeah. And Mike, this one is interesting for us as well. Packing Proton says for $5. Also, supposedly Nintendo of Japan is blocking BlackRock from buying their stock. good. Mike, have
Really?
you heard anything about this?
I have.
And
I have heard something about this for a while now. There are rumblings of a variety of companies that in the last month or two. Okay, let me take a step back. So there's this fellow whose name escapes me at the moment, and it shouldn't, who's been going after the DEI in these Fortune 500 companies. But oh God, why can't I remember his name? I watch his videos all the time. I'm just blanking.
it's the same guy, right? Who personally made sure that Harley Davidson,
Yes, that guy.
trucker company, and all of those companies basically reversed and fired their entire DEI departments.
The Starbucks guy.
Yes, same guy.
Yeah. Anyways, there are companies around the. I mean, there's companies around the globe that are ripe for being targeted. So no one wants to be targeted and be exposed for anything that might drop their sales. The sales drop, the stock drops. That's what Bud Light taught us. And your essays, your video essays, Andre, the ones that you did and put out there with Tom, were outstanding and excellent. Because
there's a follow-up on those. Those were fun to do.
Yeah, that was really tip of the spear of all of this stuff. And what's now happened in the wake is we've learned that a drop in sales will result in a drop in stock, especially if and where it can be clear that DEI was the culprit. Now, for something like Harley Davidson, it's easy and direct. For something like Disney, it's much more challenging because it's such a global brand and they've got so many business units. It's easy to mask and hide. And that's why I think in most of the earnings calls that we've covered the last 2 years, so much of the earnings calls has been them lying about the results, masking the true financial results, and manipulating the data in order to prop up what they want to look like as successful sales data that's either consistent or growing when we know that it's not. By some of their shenanigans. I fundamentally believe that is the major reason why they reorganized their financials the way they did into different business units, because that alone allowed them to hide a lot of things on the balance sheet completely. So anyways, bravo Japan. Who would have ever thought that Japan would be more based in the US? And here we are.
I wouldn't have thought so 10 years ago, but you're right. This is now, and here we are. No, actually, I would have thought so 10 years ago, but I wouldn't have thought
so Andre, I really think you should do some follow-ups because there's been a lot.
I will. I've been meaning to.
Because here's the thing, you were way, the research you and Tom and, the whole team did to get those videos out there. You guys were way tip of the spear of all of this stuff. And especially not just in the issue, covering the issue, but the depth of it. A lot has changed and a lot has happened. And I think from a cultural standpoint, even though Harley Davidson isn't a movie company, they are certainly a cultural icon company. And many Harley Davidson bikes has been in some of the most iconic movies over the years.
Absolutely. But also it's all connected. I mean, this is the politicization of not just entertainment, but of everything. Those videos were fun. I was very proud when James Lindsay himself quoted Midnight's Edge as someone that educated him on some new aspects of DEI that he wasn't aware of. So that was pretty cool. And speaking of DEI, I mean, we have Harley Davidson. That's a cool one. The really big one to me right now is Boeing, that is even stranding astronauts in space, so they have to hitch ride back again with Elon Musk and SpaceX. I mean,
Andre, everything will be all right. You know what? You're too focused on people's lives. You got to focus on the greater common good. Think of, even if we lose these 2 astronauts, God forbid, but if we did, it's been all in the name of DEI, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm wondering.
I mean, we don't want you smarty pants white people with your fancy mathematics and arithmetic screwing up the opportunities for diversity for people with skin colors like mine. I mean, who wants that?
I mean, can you imagine if that really is the cause?
How is it not the cause? I've been seeing
articles the cause
posted by people that said Boeing jumped into the stuff basically the same time Disney did, 2012, 13, and 14, and 15.
And shortly after they did that is when their plane started falling apart, and now they can't get their astronauts back again.
I get in debates with people all the time. They're like, "Oh, Mike, you're too hard on your own people." No, I'm not. I'm statistically accurate. They're like, "What do you mean?" Because look, Name 5 to 10 amazing aeronautical engineers that were Mexican. Quick, go. Name 5, name 4, name 3. And we're like, oh, well, it's possible. Look, anything is possible. That doesn't mean that it happens every day. So just because there might be some tortilla farmer somewhere off in the land, far off away, that could be an amazing scientific brain that might revolutionize space travel for all of us, doesn't mean we got to take all the good jobs from all the great professionals who are white that are making sure that safety and efficiency happens on a daily basis. Now, you want to compete against me and my people, Andre, for landscaping? Well, good luck. We're going to slaughter you.
Yeah, that is one bet I am not engaging in. Yeah.
Look, I look, not to be funny and a little bit racist. I got to tell you, I bought Max a leaf blower, and he and I were just, we were just working the yard. I tell you, the kid was a natural. The kid's a natural. He's only half Mexican, but the kid was a natural. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, he's a natural in everything, I'm sure, because he has a good father. So yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun stories in the realm of DEI to cover for sure.
So I'm an aviation nut, and I'm not entirely certain what the cause of the Boeing Starliner capsule issue is, but the rot at Boeing basically started when they bought out McDonnell Douglas. So Boeing was actually a very well-run company. McDonnell Douglas was a horrifically run company, and somehow the McDonnell Douglas management won. And Boeing has been suffering ever since. And people point to the 737 MAX disaster, the going back to that merger.
It's funny, last time I traveled long haul, I actually made sure that I wasn't flying on the Boeing MAX.
Yeah. Well, I think they banned them in Canada. All our airlines.
I think Delta has them all out of service. I think. At least out of Atlanta. I've noticed that in Atlanta Delta, I've gone from flying a ton of Boeings because I fly through Atlanta, and I fly a lot. Like I don't know. I mean, when I say a lot, I mean I probably fly 2 or 3 times a month on average, somewhere. So, but I've noticed that I've been on more Airbuses lately, or odd planes that I hadn't seen in a while, like 757s and stuff. I haven't been on a 737. I don't even know how long.
Well, that was an ill-conceived plane. Bit of crazy engineering there. Yeah. Well,
I love Paul so much that when he comes to visit me, I don't let him fly. He has to drive all the way.
I have to drive. He won't let me fly. Just so I'll get there in one piece.
Think about me. I have to take a boat then.
No, you're flying. You're flying because I refuse to wait that long. You have to fly.
And when we visit Mike, I actually take my own mechanic with me.
This is true. I can confirm. Mr. Chato is so advanced that he has his own personal engineer coming along in the car.
That's correct. Who does not stop talking about percentages and stoic values and air to fuel mixture for the whole way. And I have no idea what he's talking about.
And who knows his memes.
Yes, that's correct. I'm trying to think.
Anyway, getting back to the point of this whole thing is that you need to do an update of your videos. Japan. Look, when I was a little kid, I thought America was the most base. America. Fuck yeah.
That's because you were.
Well, maybe, but the woke mind virus and the communist initiative started back in the 60s and 70s, and while we were too busy being progressive and liberal, of which I was a guilty as charged for aiding and abetting the liberal cause. Meanwhile, Japan stuck to their guns, and here we are.
Well, when you talk to the people who support ESG, they said that there's nothing stopping any company from being as profitable as they previously were. It's more a question of how they've chosen to implement it. There's nothing in ESG specifically that requires a company to turn woke, but when you've got someone like BlackRock that says you've got to have X number of points to lower your borrowing completion bonds and thing or whatever it is that they offer, then that's an incentive to. It's the BlackRock president who said, "I'm going to make every single company I work with woke," or something, wasn't it?
Well, and here's the thing, though. There's a case to be made that it's too late because I don't remember the statistic. I don't have it at my fingertips, but the percentage of publicly traded stock that they control through their various funds is astounding.
It's amazing. Almost every major company in Canada has an ESG section.
It's something like 67% or something like 2/3 of all publicly traded companies. And the funny thing is, or the tragic thing is, it's all of our monies. Anyone with a stock account, bond account, retirement account, they didn't even go and make their money. They basically took people's retirement accounts and decided to go and do this. So they're using our own money against us in the same way that the Middle Ages, you had tenant farmers working the owners' lands and the owners were the ones getting rich. That's what's happened. And they've done it with all of our own life savings and all of our own retirement plans. And we are so busy working, trying to make ends meet and buy eggs and milk that, this happened while we weren't watching. And now it's almost too big to stop in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we're the pleb and they're the aristocrats.
Yes. Yes. And we're not even all Norwegian.
No, exactly. Exactly. But we are all Jonas. Greetings. How's it going?
Hey, it's always busy, but I was tuning in today because I had a chance to. And I'm glad to hear that Nintendo is pushing off Larry Fink and his mess. I also appreciate Robbie Starbuck was the name you guys were.
That's the guy, yeah. Robbie Starbuck.
Is he the one who revealed the Nintendo news?
I don't know. I need to follow the Nintendo news a little bit closer.
That I don't know, but I personally has rolled back many other companies, though.
He's the one that went after Harley Davidson and I believe John Deere as well. So he's going after
John Deere. He did John Deere. I follow him, John Deere, and also the feed company, the tractor supply company. I think was his first victim, and they turned within a month. They chucked their, apparently, in theory, claim to have chucked all the DEI bullshit. And
I appreciate the fact that he's saying that he sends out the email and he wants their response, and they say, "Oh, by the way, here's our new policy." I think that indicates a change in the air, and in that everyone has moved past this ridiculous adolescent phase here, like finding out that your daughter is a vegetarian this month.
Well, yes and no. Everyone has moved on with the name. What I think is more insidious is that you have companies like BlackRock that have moved on from the name, and this is what we see in a couple of companies as well. This is something that Grumps revealed on X. I'm hoping that he will be here soon to maybe talk about it himself. I do not have the tweet in front of me because he tweets all the time, but he made a reference to an email that he had gotten from inside one game developer, where basically the internal communication said that we are rebranding our DEI department into progressive growth for strategic purposes, i.e. marketing purposes. No actual policies will change.
Right, that would be Activision Blizzard.
Activision, yes, exactly.
And not to just shamelessly plug here, but John Trent's got an article on that Park Place.
Well, let's see if we can find it.
Here you go. I'll send it to you.
What's wrong with shamelessly plugging?
Because
it's only shameless if he does it. It's not shameless if I do it for him. So everyone, do check out that Park Place. And to begin with, we're going to check out this great article by one of the best journalists around, namely John F. Trent, who wrote the story. Activision and Blizzard attempt to rebrand diversity, equity, and inclusion to inclusive growth as the public rejects wokeism. Yeah, what can you tell us about this, Jonas?
We'll be covering it more on that gameplay later. But this is the same kind of thing we see so often. To go real old school here, when the USSR folded, the KGB went away and then was reorganized. under different agencies. So these kinds of things don't go away just because they change the name of it. I think diversity, equity, and inclusion, when you look at a lot of the things that went on with that Supreme Court ruling that basically said that affirmative action was illegal, and then some of these DEI programs are directly illegal. I think they want to try to get ahead of that a little bit, change the language, tweak the language a little bit, but still in spirit keep trying to do the things that they're doing. Usually HR departments are pretty careful about following the letter of the law while still forcing things like this. Adding the word growth, that's just propaganda right there. I think that is a bit of branding to try to pretend like it's definitely something that is good for the company.
Well, I think they want you to assume that it's positive growth. Growth can be negative as well.
Yeah, that's very true. As we talk about Disney and their slides with positive zeros, and then the next month negative zero moving into positive zero. There's always some kind of Orwellian thing here, like inclusive. Of course, when they say inclusive, they actually mean the other thing. So, yeah, Activision and Blizzard, they were pulling garbage. They've been pulling things like this for years. So Grum's famously, his division with the company started right after they decided to quote unquote put on their big boy pants. By saying, we're a big company, we need to handle this firing of all these people who just did all this work to make this game, because we're a big company now, we're a real company, and ever since then they're anti-gamer, and they just buy things that are gamer until it loses its luster, and now here we are with a AAA collapse.
The Andre, you were talking about, or someone there was talking about Robbie Starbucks posting on Twitter and getting a very quick change from a company.
I think that was Jonas who referenced that.
It was Ford. Apparently, so he's quoted as saying, "Big news: we're in the middle of investigating woke policies at Ford, but this morning Ford confirmed to me that they're making changes already. Here are the changes: ending participation in the HRC's Woke Corporate Equality Index social credit system." That's the most pernicious part of all of this, by the way, guys.
Yes.
Yep.
This is the scary thing. This is how they manage to grab companies by the whatever short and curlies, whatever you want to call it. It sounds like there will be no more donations to pride events or other divisive events. ERG groups must be focused on business. Oh my God. No supplier or dealership diversity quotas. Man, that's a fast change. Isn't that incredible? I mean, one of the big things that Tractor Supply Company was doing was sponsoring drag shows for children.
Oh, they all were. All of the companies that want all of their big ESG points in order, especially these human rights campaign. I forgot the name of it. Right, the HRC.
Yeah, HRC.
Right, the equal sign.
Especially those that want their HRC points, they have to sponsor pride events for children.
Isn't that weird? I'm not even talking about pride events. I'm talking about drag shows.
Yeah, same difference.
I guess that counts.
You know what's funny is I had to go look. It was August 26th that he tweeted about something similar with Lowe's executives as well, that also abandoning HRC. So Ford and Lowe's, Ford is a more of an obviously Lowe's is a hardware store.
A big one.
Yeah, it is huge. And that and Home Depot pretty much dominate the United States hardware market. Unless you want to go to the small aisles at Walmart or something like that. But companies like Ford, that's supposed to be an intrinsically American company, so much so that we forgive them with some of their mechanical issues. It seems like this is something that he's gonna keep spamming this button, and I'm glad that he's doing it.
And for reasons that he doesn't talk about. For instance, I investigated the HRC Plus website. It's clear that it's an old organization. Obviously, a lot of these organizations start with a that's a good idea, like something that, okay, I understand why they're starting it, but then eventually it becomes a money-making venture, and they offer companies quotes, not just quotes, but space on their website to show that they are properly run, righteous companies that fulfill the HRC Plus mandates. And as along with that, and I'm sure they have to pay for that. I'm absolutely positive that this is a shakedown organization saying, well, we're going to post something nice about you now that you hit a 90% rating, but you got to pay for it. So, you know, they're not a benign organization.
Oh, far from it. As many are saying in the chat here. Yeah. Hey, Tom, is your computer
How do I
working now?
sound? I had to hook
You
up.
sound great.
I had to hook up a new mic.
You
This
actually
one
sound better right
did
now.
not want to work,
You actually
That
sound
sounds
better.
which
great.
is sad because this one cost only like $50 compared to this one. But anyway,
You actually sound better right now
I
than
don't know.
You do. You really
you sound
do.
better than you sounded in weeks or months.
Yeah, this thing was a piece of crap mic. I'm never buying a HyperX again. It was more
Oh my
expensive
God,
than
my
a Yeti.
HyperX. Okay, I got a HyperX right behind me. See that one?
Yeah.
It stopped working on me when I was gaming against Max. We were gaming, and the damn thing, and I spent like $180 on it.
It was working fine when I first come in here. Now I couldn't hear you guys. I am so sorry. I did not mean to derail the conversation. I just.
Oh, it's okay.
Anyway, this episode it's not sponsored by
HyperX.
But Blue Yeti, if get a hold of us if you're.
AKG.
Yeah.
What I was going to add to the
AKG.
conversation is that what I think this guy needs to do, Paul, from a marketing standpoint, is what he should do is he should now come up with a charter that he needs them to accept, and that so that he doesn't have to just wait and see. You know, what he's doing now is he's nudging the bear and seeing if the bear goes, oh, and here's what I want to. No, this is what we want you to take a stand to do, and this is what other companies done. Are you joining with us and pledging to be, you know, blah 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 blah?
You know what? Yeah,
He's got to. Don't you think he needs to go on the offense now by saying
Right.
this is a manifesto of change?
No, not just that. He should create his own index.
Yes, exactly.
He
Perfect.
should create his own checkbox index saying, this is what we believe in, and this is the shit we're not doing.
We should hook him up with Cabrutus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DEI detected. Expanded.
Yeah, I think we need to name and shame every single company that is sucking on this teat.
You have to keep in mind that naming and shaming is why they started sucking on that teeth in the first place, and why they went as far as they would be shamed and punished if they didn't in the DEI shakedown.
But
I propose Midnight's Edge start its own investigation and accountability program where we nominate Paul Chato, and he has to go to all the Pride events to make sure they're canceled.
yeah.
He goes to those anyway.
I'll wear my bondage outfit, and they'll go, okay, we're done.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing: since we already have stood on the walls and fought for that in the 70s, right? It's kind of like only Nixon could go to China. I mean, you'd have far more authority than any of us who never stood on the barricades.
And the thing is, this all started in the 60s when it looked like everybody involved with Marxist socialism were fans of it. Capitalism was winning. Countries that adopted capitalism were pulling themselves out of poverty. Every single communist country was failing miserably. They were all crashing badly. And it was, I can't remember who the person was, but they realized that they got to stop trying to fight capitalism on facts, and they turned it into feelings. So it was a genius move where anyone you talk about on this side of the left side of politics, they're all talking about the feelings of doing the right thing. They don't have any facts on their side.
No, because they're making things worse. They're destroying the world as they think.
And this is what we're seeing right now is the winning strategy in full force that they've actually turned on capitalist organizations. It's just so ridiculous.
I had someone that I was arguing with that they were talking about the disparity between people who have no money and people who do have money. It did not matter to them that the economic low level actually went up significantly in the United States. They were worried about the difference between the bottom level and the top level. And I was trying to do research to try to figure out, okay, what is the actual danger here? And the best answer that I could come up with is it just makes people angry that rich people have more money. Generally speaking, even if it benefits them more to have all of this commerce happening, because the rising tide lifts all boats. That's just economically been true in America forever. If that bottom level is going up, if the top level goes up faster, it breeds socialism. And that's pretty much the only negative to the top level going further and further away from the bottom level. I would love to be proven wrong on this because I'm trying to find what the actual danger is other than that it breeds socialism.
I think the biggest danger has been the shrinking of the middle class, but I don't want to get into a whole polemic right now. One of the big arguments that I've made is that the GDP of all the black, the 40 million people, black population in the United States is greater than an entire GDP of Africa. So, I mean, that's pretty telling. So, give me a break.
Yeah, good points. Although,
how far do you want to go, Andre? Because I could keep going on this issue for
I think we
a
need
very
to
long
stop.
time. On the
well, I'm sure that you have investigated some other issues recently as well. Matters of Disney. What's going on in the House of Mouse these days, Jonas?
Well, there's an inside baseball issue that's going on. If you're a longtime fan of the parks, they're destroying a large section of Walt Disney World called Rivers of America. If you've ever been to the Walt Disney World Park and traveled from Haunted Mansion to Frontierland, there's a river on your right-hand side. It's actually kind of a donut, but it looks like it's a semi-straight path over here. It's a beautiful section of the park, has a riverboat in it. It leads to the ambiance of the park being fantastic. And they've essentially said they're going to fill it in with concrete and put in Cars Land, ka-chow. They're going to put in something more fake, something that doesn't have any natural beauty.
Wow.
Yeah. And then over Disney's California Adventure, or Disney California Adventure, whatever they're calling it today, they're going to be taking out a red trolley that's been going through the park there. So there's a lot of just getting rid of things that made the parks look very nice and things that people appreciated about the parks lately. And they're probably going to hire Dana Walden to take over for Bob Iger. And that doesn't sound good.
That company is cooked.
Yeah. She's heavily tied to Kamala Harris.
It'll literally be, dude, she's a moron. That company is cooked. She is a straight up DEI. The minute it's announced that she's CEO, I don't ever want to hear or be on another live stream again about anything related to the Disney company, because all we're literally going to be doing is doing play-by-plays of watching a 3-story building set on fire and watching it burn until the last timber or ember is dead and done. In rides, in real estate, in vacations, and movies, merchandise across the board, it is over the second she's named CEO.
So you wouldn't even be back for Black Panther 3, Invasion of the Blue Water Mexicans?
Are we trying to trigger me today? Is that what's happening on this show? Is that what's happening? I just got here.
I think I just broke your microphone as well, actually.
How's that?
Send you a Blue Yeti travel version.
Yeah.
Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
See, you triggered me.
Yeah, there's a report out of Puck.
Dana is going to.
Yeah, there's a report out of Puck that says that, and it's not even from Matt Bellany, it's from Dylan Byers, that says that Bob Iger isn't listening to anyone because he wants Dana Walden to be the next CEO. The other options are just kind of sitting there. In their opinion, it seems to be that Jimmy Pitaro is the closest to another good option, and they want to keep him over there at ESPN so they can keep the option of selling that off at some point. There's no one internally at that company right now that I think could actually turn the things around. There's one guy, actually there's two guys, Kevin Mayer and Tom Staggs, that are consultants that they could bring them in. They could buy Candle Media, their co-CEOs over there, and probably fix the company, even though I'm sure they're both big libs. If they actually hired those people to run the company, give me a lot of confidence. But instead, they're going to go for the pretty lady who was best friends with Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris was introduced to Doug Emhoff, or the other way around, through Dana Walden and her family. And, by the way, the next debate is going to be hosted on ABC News, which Dana Walden is in charge of. It's just, they're essentially the same thing as the Democrat Party at this point. And maybe that's why all their movies stink.
It's over.
Yeah.
Can you tell me just briefly, is there going to be a debate between Kamala and Trump?
Yes. He's actually, I believe he's actually confirmed he'll do the debate. I want to say September 10th. That it actually will be happening, and whatever the rules are, Trump has agreed to them. So I don't think the moderation situation will be the same as it was for CNN, but I do believe he has agreed to a debate. I may be off on that. I've been
the best moderator I've seen in years was Chris Wallace. I thought. He was
the former Fox News guy.
Yeah.
And I think Trump hates his guts, so that would be fascinating to watch him fighting on two fronts.
Yeah, he seems to be like a straight up dude.
Yeah. He was the most liberal guy on Fox. Sorry, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about Fox News, but he was the most liberal guy on Fox News for a while, and then CNN bought him up, and then canceled the streaming service that he was on within 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, CNN Plus was going to have a Chris Wallace show. That was like the biggest thing they had on it before David Zaslav came in and said, "No, we're not doing this. Cancel it. I don't care that you launched this thing 6 days ago."
So yeah, good stuff. But I have you raised one really interesting thing about Succession there, that reportedly Bob Iger is the one who is hell bent on Dana Walden, which I can see, because that means that he probably gets to be the actual king of Disney for many, many years to come, as she will obviously defer to him. Mike, as a general thing, how common is it that CEOs appoint their own replacement? I thought it was like the board that was supposed to do that.
Oh, that is true, Andre. But silly Andre, there you go, not realizing that Bob knows what's best for us. Andre, don't you have you learned nothing of Bob Iger's leadership than knowing that it's that in Bob we trust?
I know that he did need some help, though, because he appointed one of his friends from the board, who is the former CEO over at Morgan Stanley, to help him with the succession process. Now, this is something that this guy in Morgan Stanley has great experience with, because he also appointed his own succession plan.
I was going to tell Jonas this privately and see if he wanted to use it on one of his live streams. I just think I got so busy last week I didn't get a chance to call him. Someone well-placed told me that that this executive search, that you're going to hear news and rumblings that they're looking for outside candidates, but all of this is a smoke show, so that when they announce, they're going to then release an announcement that's going to say that we've looked at a variety of candidates, but we've decided, because of the unique things related to the Disney company, that we're going to go with an internal candidate. And that's what's happening. That's what it's being positioned right now, and has been for the last 3 weeks. Jonas, I've been meaning to call you and tell you this for about a week or two, but I've been busy.
I believe it. Because if you look at the investor page and how they've talked about it, they're going to go on this march.
Yeah, they're going to go on this march. I'm sorry, I'll turn it over to you in 1 sec. They're going to go on this march, and then you're going to hear 1 or 2 press releases about so many outside candidates being found. But when the hatchet drops, they're going to basically say none of these people have the experience, the years, or the vast knowledge of the business, and that for the sake of the business, they're going to go with this internal candidate. And they're going to do this, I was told, specifically because then if they go through this mock process, it is specifically then going to shield Dana from being seen as a DEI woke hire a la Kathleen Kennedy. A
Sound
very
City.
well placed person. Actually, Jonas knows. who
No,
this guy
I
is.
know who you're talking about. Dana Walden has been there for 5 years at this point.
That's not. I hear you, bro. Bro, I hear you.
I'm agreeing with,
But I'm just telling you that by
because
the time
truth
we
is
get to
always
this
different
announcement,
than the truth, right?
by the time we get to this announcement next year, the year after, whatever, whether she's been there 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, it's going to be more years than these outside candidates that are going to be found.
And the only thing that she has right now is the quote unquote success of the television division. Well, if she's in charge of Disney Plus, that's a complete disaster. That is a joke right there. Hulu has been running itself, just using they're coasting on the strength of their catalog titles.
What's happening at Disney is cultural cancer, and we are all doing videos and live streams watching it happen. But it is gone. The second that the official announcement is made, I literally, I don't want to hear anything about Kathleen Kennedy. I don't want to hear anything about Dave Filoni. I don't want to hear anything about anything related to anything. The whole thing, the rot woke termites have eaten the house, and it's completely infested, and it must burn and die. And at this point, the minute she's elected CEO, here's what I'm going to be cheering for. You're not going to hear me cheering for Disney Plus to be there for my kid or my grandkids. You're not going to hear all these rants that I've done. I just am not going to care anymore. That all hope will be gone, and I will not care at all, and neither should any of you. You want to for sentimental reasons? Go for it. But literally, this company needs to go the way of Sears and Kmart, and it needs to die and go away like Polaroid film.
I can't disagree.
And also, we need to document its fall and let everyone see exactly what is going on in the process. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, as historical anthology, absolutely. Let's mine the crap out of this and make some money on the way down and out. I'm just saying that as a fan that's caring, if you're a fan that cares for this, the rejuvenation and the revival of all the things that were once great in parks and movies and TV and more, let it go, and let's just laugh and watch as they set themselves on fire.
The problem is it's a cultural institution that locusts are setting on fire.
Well,
they
we
didn't
let
care
these
about
locusts
it in the first place.
People like me and Paul, by being progressive and liberal for so long and providing the leadership as good meaning, well-intentioned progressives that Paul and I were. And I was way more radical than Paul was. Paul and I had a long talk about this. I was literally a way out there leftist commie revolutionary. Okay, Paul was much more measured than I was, but guys like us that were well-meaning opened the door for these real nasty commies to come in, and now it's all ruined for everybody, including good,
I agree.
God-fearing Americans.
That is the problem, is that I don't think those of us who were progressive at the time really understood what kind of monsters that we let in the door.
Yeah, I've heard many say that. People that champion various causes that now regret it because the causes were good in and of themselves.
Well, and now Disney is literally quadrupling down. As you see here, they are offering 4 times the national average for a new DEI director over at Disney, according to Daily Wire.
Is this the chief DEI officer for the company?
Sounds like it.
Okay,
Jonas,
no.
what say you on this news?
Well, this is disappointing. We thought they might at least try the rebrand to start with it, because Latondra Newton left the company. You know, there was all those C-suite exits a couple of years ago where Christine McCarthy left the company, and almost as a little, oh, by the way, here's a footnote: the chief DEI officer left the company. We were kind of assuming they would quiet the noise a little bit, maybe rebrand this thing the way that Activision Blizzard is rebranding it. But here, $250K to essentially do nothing. That's ridiculous.
There's something else really bad there. Tom, can you scroll back up a little bit? I want to read their description there. Okay, just leave it right there. It says a job posting from the Walt Disney Company for a DEI director role advertises minimum salary of 197K and a maximum salary of 241K. Damn. Average American salary in 2024 is 59,000 annually. We're seeking a director of strategic external engagement, enterprise DEI, to lead our efforts in building strategic relationships with external, keyword, commie word, stakeholders. With external stakeholders, driving community engagement and generating valuable insights to support our diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives. The job description reads, Tom is right, this is quadrupling down and everything, including on stakeholder capitalism, because every single time you read that word, stakeholder, you have to be aware, this is a commie word that is only used in revolutionary commie.
Yeah, I learned it doesn't mean somebody is going to give you a tasty bit of meat.
This is true. It does not mean that.
It means they're putting a piece of wood through your heart.
Basically, yeah.
So you know what's really funny? Coming from the website building side of things, is that this language is pretty much exactly the same as what your search engine optimization team uses to befuddle a client. It's almost word for word. It's hilarious.
Is that legal? I thought that's what Harvey used to do.
Speaking of
no, it's perfectly legal. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I actually did a sketch on this.
Oh.
No, it's quite literally the buzzwords. It's the DEI and ESG buzzwords are also the SEO buzzwords.
Yeah, they're the same. They're increasing the funnel, shareholders partnerships, stakeholder partnerships. It's okay. So tell me, Andrea, I have my answer to that, but you give me yours.
Why it is like that? Why the SEO terms are the same as the ESG terms? My answer is the SEO terms are whatever someone wills to be the SEO terms. And that those are the SEO terms that gives you the most hits is because some very big IT institutions have placed additional value on those words and will reward websites that use them because they have the correct values. You see this in many places. Because you also have like different versions of SEO, right? You have like the internal and the external SEO, but then you also have the, what's it called again? Like the technical SEO, which you don't even see, but it's right there in the construction of the website itself, which is also how good your website is in accessibility for the blind and for the deaf. And that kind of things. It's all about inclusion fundamentally. And it's because the IT giants like Microsoft and Google wills it to be so. That is my answer to that. What is yours?
So one of the things that somebody pointed out, and this goes back to a plagiarism accusation to Robin DiAngelo, the famous white woman who hates white people. Another one of these grifters, race grifters, who's made millions of dollars on that, is that her university paper is now being looked at for plagiarism, and in the process of doing that, they found that everybody in this race grifting category and in this entire left side of the column really don't have a whole lot to talk about or write about. And so they can't help but plagiarize each other's words because there's not many words to use. So they just keep reusing their own stuff and borrowing it from each other. So you end up with this block of commentary that all sounds the same. This all came from investigating Robin DiAngelo's alleged plagiarism investigation, which that should be fun when that finishes off. They don't have there's no deep thought in this entire category.
I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. I'm reading one of their speeches right here. It says here, I have an idea that all people will be judged by the color of their skin and not their character. So that sounds completely original to me.
So I'm not surprised that they don't have a lot of really deep thought in any of their processes, and so they're just rehashing the same stuff to each other amongst each other.
Because if you look, I've been around a lot of C-suite, a lot of corporate execs. These guys go to conferences and conventions and whatever's the new. But remember when Synergy came out, Paul?
Yeah.
What did Synergy mean?
It means firing people.
What else can it mean? Right, but what else can it mean?
It means you pass the buck to other departments.
And it can mean whatever you want it to mean in the context of it's meaningless crap. And that's what and that's my point, is that these corporate people are so happy.
That's true.
They're so happy to get to the levels they're at, and they're so terrified to lose it because they got a mortgage, they got 2 cars, they got their Disney vacation house that they're paying for, that they take the kids to on their timeshare. They got their vacation, their pensions are stuck. Whenever the new thing comes along, they just buy into it hook, line, and sinker. Personal preservation and being seen as being in the right is what matters more than doing things that are right for the business. I've seen it over and over again, and it's why I left at an early age and said I didn't want to. You wanted to hear something ridiculous? I just found this out. I just saw a job announcement. I wish I had it handy. I couldn't find it. I just saw a job announcement for the new diversity inclusion manager, right? The diversity inclusion manager for guess what firm? Ernst & Young.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay.
What does diversity and inclusion have to do with adding up numbers with a freaking calculator? I mean, you either are able to do it or you're not able to do it. Right?
Most of them not able to do it.
Yeah. No. I'm curious because, of course, you always have like these DEI programs in companies like Boeing and Ernst & Young and Disney, like these relatively well-off-to-do jobs. I'm genuinely curious. But in jobs like maintenance and emptying the trash and stuff like that, do they have any DEI programs?
No, but we should have more white people there too.
I'm also going to point out that Ernst & Young, they just want the person that ends up sending the contract over to Ernst & Young India to be a diverse person before they pay people bottom dollar over on the subcontinent to do all the work anyways.
Well, did you just unplug it and plug it back in? Does that work?
I don't know if they still use the term, but remember when business process reengineering became a business buzzword?
It does sound like it.
That meant firing people.
To go back to and redundancy in all of these phrases. Synergy is a phrase that has essentially killed Disney, by the way, since that's a pet issue of mine, of course. With Disney, they've essentially said, well, our films don't need to be profitable because they're used to advertise the parks. And the parks, well, these are a marketing tool for the movies, and the movies are a tool for the merchandise, and it's this Ouroboros.
That's why Synergy used to work.
Right. And when you have one of those being very successful, they can prop up the other one. So instead, you get a Ray movie that leads into a Ray land, and then the feedback loop has nothing to feed back on. And essentially, so a great example right here would be the Harry Potter lands at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios and Hollywood and Orlando and all that. Universal does not own Harry Potter. So their only interest here is in making something that brings in people. And the Warner Brothers people, well, they get a little bit of money. And of course, J.K. Rowling gets a little bit of that money from the theme park. But their interest is in making a movie. And they want that movie to be profitable. And so if you have someone who wants to make a profitable movie, that maybe he'll interact, maybe he won't, with the person who wants to make a profitable theme park land, then this works out great for everybody. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. So instead you have a Galaxy's Edge that doesn't say, how can we make the most money off of Galaxy's Edge by putting Luke Skywalker in it? And the Kathleen Kennedy over here not saying, how can I make the most money off of this property by giving people exactly what they want? Instead, they give people what they think they should want. So synergy for the last 5 to 10 years has essentially killed everything at Disney at this point. They used to be able to pull this trick where they would just insist that something was successful for a very long time until it eventually was. There's plenty of box office flops that they're still trading off of now, like Princess and the Frog, not that successful at the box office. Hercules, not successful at the box office. But you wouldn't think that if you show up in a Disney park. And it's not working anymore because the internet has a much better memory now than it used to back in the day. So synergy is basically the curse of Disney at this point. So
You make a good point that someone who has been hired to do just the one aspect of an IP, like you're going to build a restaurant around Harry Potter, you will have no time for DEI. Right.
Right. Because restaurants fail quickly. Right. Restaurants fail quickly.
You're right.
They don't have a very clear profit incentive.
Yeah.
But they're so insistent that it's going to work because this links into this and they're trying to build. They're world building here. I could just hear screenwriters.
And I don't understand how they don't lean into it more so in the classic sense, because like you're saying, Jonas, and it makes total sense. Like the reason that the synergy is killing them is because everything is so interconnected from, the 80s and 90s when they introduced this idea of synergy, especially. I mean, it's always been there for Disney, but I mean, the old school, like they realized, as soon as they realized they could make more money selling plastic and t-shirts and posters and such, then the game changed, right? It was like, well, the money's all in that stuff. And like you said, the movie is then at that point ostensibly a commercial for the toys, or in this case for Disney, it's a commercial for their theme park, right? I mean, even Warner Brothers had their own theme park, or still does. I don't know if they still have any connection with it anymore or not, but I don't understand why they ever lost this idea in the first place. We've said this a million times over, but Marvel's a great example, right? You have all the movies interconnected now, something that we never would have had back in the day because all these licenses were so, convoluted, and the company would license something out here, license something out there, license something out here. So there was no real chance for synergy, right?
Right.
To where
Correct.
now, Disney now owns 90% of the Marvel properties, and they're working with Sony on the other 10%. So, I mean, really, there's no excuse.
So when you look at Amazing Spider-Man 2 or the Marvels or what's the other one? It was tip of my tongue. The Mummy. All of these movies that are supposed to, no, we're not advertising this movie. We're advertising all the next movies. And if people are buying in, great. But if they're not buying in, they're really not buying in because they're not looking for a relationship here. They're looking for entertainment right now. So,
well, I know you got to be leaving us here, Jonas. We do have at least, I know, 1 or 2 super chats that are addressed to you.
Yeah,
so.
Go for it.
Tennille says, Jonas and Mike, does Iger just think he can will success into existence? My cat sniffed a candle one time and it never made the same mistake again.
Your poor cat. Yes. He thinks he can buy someone else's success and then run it himself. And Script Doctor said it one time, and it's stuck in my brain. Disney buys something and then it has about 10 years before it stops working.
You're not wrong. And then now Jonas, Tennille's cat can no longer smell anything. Just so you know.
It might be a blessing for the cat, depending on your eating habits.
Let me see here if there's any other ones that are specifically for you. I do not see your name pop up in here anymore, so I do apologize if we missed any more, but
I think Mr. Tickle Trunk just sent
one. Jonas, I just like his name. Carry on.
Thank you very much. I'm carrying the win. Thanks for all you've shown us. This is how we feel.
Well,
I think that's the first time I've actually made that Weezer reference on anything on the internet. So thank you very much for having me, guys. It's always a blast. Wish I could do it more often.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Arrivederci.
It's good seeing you, man.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Let's get into some of these super chats. What do you guys say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start down here since they're all Disney related and backwards, I guess. Let's do it that way. Tennille sends in another one and says Boeing used to be the gold standard of engineering. DEI sent their safety standards plummeting down closer to the Titan submarine or brass bowl. Wow, and sent a lot of other things plummeting.
And I would say it's the McDonnell Douglas thing that worse, more, that the DEI thing could be bad now, but they set the stage for this to happen because they let McDonnell Douglas take over the management of the a lot of the construction of the planes, the regular planes. It was a disaster.
Just like they are, yeah. And then we had a couple Rumble rants here. Samurai Vader sent in 2 and said, blocking BlackRock means nothing when Nintendo allows their American branch to push trans stuff on kids' video games to please a bunch of perverts who play them. But that's the thing. Do they really even play them?
Not the ones that they're trying to reach. No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, no. Hopefully Nintendo isn't doing this shit. They used to be one of the few that you could kind of rely on. Like they were the Disney of video games, basically. So hopefully they're getting their heads out of their butts if they're doing that. Then we got Mikey clickety clicking up there. It sounds like, or Paul is one of the two.
Not me. I'm on mute.
It must
Not
be
me. You can't.
Andre then.
No,
Can't-
it's not me. I hear it. It's not
I
me.
think Paul's coming through his camera mic, but I'm not 100% sure. I said that in the background.
I got my headphones on. There's no way.
I don't know. Yeah,
No,
but
I
it's
think your mic's on. Do you have a laptop?
No, I'm on my computer. Got my headphones on. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that's what we're hearing.
Someone just typed. Who was
that was me.
Yeah, that was
It's
Paul.
you.
So it is Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 'cause
double
your
check
mic
your
is
mic
pointed-
settings, brother.
Your mic is pointed down at your keyboard.
Probably.
Like that. One of the two, yeah.
Don't-
You might want to point it at your lips, Paul.
I have a very loud keyboard. No, my
And I'm
mic's
still
pointing at
getting
my
used to
lips.
this.
My mic is pointing at my lips. This is where the part of the mic that's pointing. It's right here.
Do you have an Apple or do you have a regular?
I have an Apple, and Apples are superior.
I have, never mind. I have an Apple computer, but a PC keyboard.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not worried about the keyboard. I was just worried because my settings were all sorts of screwed up. That's why I had to do this morning. So, because of the stupid update, Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in 2 and says, Partsy mentioned this. I want to make sure you guys read it. Ubisoft charged people $130 for a special edition with 3-day early access, then wiped all their programming with the day 1 patch. Is that what you guys?
I think he means all their
different?
progress rather than programming.
Yeah.
Oh, I read it wrong. That was my bad.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, this is what we said earlier, that it's the people that paid $130 for early access. I don't know why the hell you would do that. Not only are you a beta tester, but you're paying $130 for the privilege of being a beta tester. And you get through the game, and then they delete all your progress. So yeah, good going. But again, I hope people were aware that this is not the completed product. AAA games, and this I think is a problem with gaming today. Games are released in an unfinished state, and then they're finished up later on.
Yeah, that's been happening for a while.
I know it's been happening, but I'm just saying I think it's bad. I don't think it's.
I agree. I agree.
And by it being that way, everyone does it. It's like, people
Yep.
can't expect to have a finished product on day one. We're going to charge them $130 to be beta testers. And that's fundamentally what they're doing.
Didn't we read this one already? I thought we did. I thought, yeah. Packing Proton sends in 5 and says, maybe a Rumble question. How come communism seems to stick in China, North Korea, and Russia, but fail everywhere else?
Russia is the communist. They used to be. They're not. As for China and North Korea, well, as long as they're able to maintain control of the populace, if the control is complete and the populace have no way to fight back unless they are completely and utterly united, and they're not because they can't communicate, then it's going to be very difficult to break you free of. What say you, Paul?
Well, once you get into North Korea and China, you got to ask yourself, like, what is communism? I mean, it's holding the means of production. China is a very capitalist country now, but they've got a dictatorship. So I mean, you can't really label anything anymore. There's no pure version of capitalism. There's no pure version of communism out there. But we do know that I think a lot of people wouldn't want to live under the regime that exists in China.
Yeah, let's just say it's not communism in the traditional sense, but it's more akin to authoritarianism.
Yeah,
It definitely is
yeah.
that. That it most decidedly is. Russia is not communist.
No. What would
no.
you call it?
An oligarchy, I guess.
Yeah. Putin land.
Yeah, it is Putin land. and I'm not. Yeah. People say I'm a Putin apologist already, so I don't even know how to put it, but I don't even know why. But yeah.
Because you're putting on the Ritz.
No, because I've been in Russia a few times, and it's not that bad. I have never ever felt safer in any capital city anywhere in the world than in Moscow.
Oh, I understand what you mean. Yeah, because they got good policing.
Yeah.
In the UK, I think it was Lawrence Fox that the police visited him because he posted the British flag on his Facebook page, and it was deemed someone complained that it was deemed offensive to immigrants.
Oh wow! Yeah, fantastic.
So they actually have a video of police visiting Lawrence Fox.
Well, there's a few videos like that coming from the UK right now, which are quite shocking, and I never ever thought we would see such videos coming in Europe in this day and age. But hey, here we are.
Isn't it amazing?
That's the kind of stuff I actually wouldn't expect coming from Russia. And you don't have it there.
No, that's my point, is that's exactly what the Russians don't put up with. Hungary doesn't put up with it. Hungary might just be the best place to move to right now if you want to get away from all this stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know about that, but yeah, maybe. In terms of everything else, I don't know, but in terms of getting away certain crazy stuff that you have in the rest of the West, yeah, there are a number of locations in Eastern Europe that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. I agree with you. Croatia, they have a nice beach.
All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Let's go back to the top here. We got Justice for Geo the Rock sends in 35 South African Rand, says, so Skydance sale is sealed in blood now. Yesterday consistent if a lot of screaming and money literally being set on. I can't read today, Andre, please.
Sure. So Skydance sale is sealed in blood now. Yesterday, consistent if a lot of screaming and money literally being set on fire by Alex Kurtzman, thanks Moonves. Because Moonves is the one that gave Kurtzman this ironclad deal, which Skydance is going to struggle with as well. And I waited with this one specifically to hear if you had heard anything coming new from your sources in Paramount of what's going on there. Specifically, what's going on with Kurtzman, because they're discovering just what kind of poison pill Kurtzman has courtesy of Moonves.
No, it's been pretty much radio silent since a lot of this shit's been going down. So anybody I probably had any connection to that would have known anything, they're either sitting on the sideline or no longer have a job. Because they were, cleaning house the last few weeks. So I don't have anything more. I know they started shooting Academy That's all I know right at the moment. I have not heard much of anything else. I'm actually kind of surprised this other guy backed out of the deal, and it's too bad because Skydance I don't think is a good fit for Paramount. I think they're part of the problem they're in right now. And if Skydance is there, I don't think Kurtzman goes anywhere.
Yeah, apparently he's really, really stuck, and it's going to be extremely expensive to get rid of him, courtesy of Moonbase. Yeah,
unless something happens after the sale. I mean, if let's just say to play devil's advocate, if they moved everything, because they were moving and shaking some things around. If let's say they moved everything back underneath CBS as far as whole cloth with Star Trek and a few of their other IPs, and say Zaslav comes in with Warner Brothers and AT&T and they buy CBS division, that could change some things. But in that respect, I still think then even Kurtzman is still being bought out, or they have to finish out whatever contract they have with it. I don't know. I have not heard anything new in a long time on that, sadly. So, like, even this new, I would have loved to have heard about this new Yellowstone news that just dropped yesterday, because that's complete news to me. So some things have changed behind the scenes there. For those who don't know what I'm referring to, is they're now discussing going forward with further seasons of the actual show proper without Kevin Costner, because I was under the impression the new spinoff would be basically the de facto show. All those characters would move over to that new show. And that's changing, I guess, evidently, or that's not the case, I should say. So yeah, I have not heard anything otherwise. So sorry, I can't update you better than that, Andre and Justice.
Yeah, well, update will come once we learn more, but I think a lot of things are in flux right now. So more info to come as it settles. And also things are changing rapidly there right now, and who knows exactly how the chips are going to fall down. So more on that later, and thanks for the support. Then Ruby Hoove gifted us 1 Midnight Edge membership. Thanks for that, and congrats to whoever picks it up. And Chaos Sonic 1 says for $5, I actually disagree with you, Mike, as Bandai of Japan just made a DEI office, so Japan is not based. Well, there's a difference between the nation and individual pockets of it. Mike, have you heard about this? Bandai of Japan prepping their DEI, which is starting to make its inlay into Japan as well.
I didn't know about that, so I don't know.
No, is this the same Bandai that makes like toys and shit, or
of all the Japanese companies, I'm not surprised about Bandai.
Why is that? So you would know more. I don't even like anime or manga, so I don't know. Go.
Bandai is kind of the most corporate of the animation companies. I've had experiences with them back in the day when they made Apple's much abandoned game console. So I had actually a preview of Apple's first game console made by Bandai. It was a joke, and it never got released, thankfully. I can't remember what the name of it was. Maybe one of our listeners out there can inform us what Apple's console was. It might even have called Apple Bandai console. I can't remember. It was terrible. So yeah, but of all the corporate entities, I could see Bandai being quote unquote the most flexible when it comes to that kind of larceny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's the Bandai, I think it is, then yeah, they have a lot of connections with America. So
oh yeah, for
that's
sure.
What I was thinking. That was what I was insinuating or thinking anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Gabatron says, please use this to buy Tom a coffee. Yeah, I need one this morning, Gabatron. Thank you for the toonie. I've gotten like 2 hours of sleep because of that Crow video. So please, if you guys care, the reason I'm so tired this morning is that Crow video we dropped. Check it out.
Yeah, do check it out. So that's the second Crow video we dropped in 2 days here. So
you've been editing.
Yeah. Editing, research, helped write the first one, rewrote this one with Andre a couple times. this was a journey. But if you guys like it, we may do more. So check it
Yeah,
out.
it was a collaborative effort, but Tom is obviously the bigger Crow fan. I respect it, but Tom knows it.
ActionCom sends in another two and says, "Why isn't Amtrak taking advantage of Boeing's loss?"
What? Because no one wants to ride a train anymore.
Monorail.
And also, that's quite a change of
That must be
infrastructure.
you know what that one must be from someone overseas who is an American. Americans are lazy and want their cars. We want to drive where we want to go and we want to fly where we want to go because we're lazy and we don't like being around other people. So that while Amtrak while that might be intelligent, the reality is that our entire nation is not set up for that, and Americans culturally don't want to do that.
Plus, you don't have the infrastructure for it.
Not anymore, no. Most of it's just for shipping anymore. Pilgrim Media says, I meant McDonald's Douglas F-18s for $2. That must have been in reference to an earlier super chat, I'd imagine.
I didn't know my camera was off. When did that
Sorry,
happen?
we missed that one. That or I wasn't even here. So I have no idea what he's referring to. But you guys must have been talking about Boeing and stuff. So
yes, we were. We were talking about Boeing.
ActionCom sends in two and says, ever see the videos of luxury bus services?
Well, I do not know specifically which luxury bus services you are referring to. I have seen, I've been in the UK and I've seen the commercials that the bus companies have for their long intercity bus hauls. Like, you know, the bus that go from London to Bath and Bath to Manchester and stuff like that. I've been on those buses that they try to pretend is luxury. They're not luxury. It's like you're still a sardine.
I've been on luxury buses, plenty of them. We used to have a client that owned a bunch of them.
So yeah, maybe you have some real luxury. Maybe you have some real luxury buses in the States, but I certainly have never been on one in Europe. Maybe one that consider itself to be it, but not anything I would agree with.
Mikey, can we get a luxury bus?
No.
Can we afford a luxury bus?
I'll ask Uncle Paul. Packing Proton sends in 5 and says, Lowe's telling conservative customers to go shop at Home Depot. Oh.
For those of us not in the States, Lowe's, is that?
It's like another
the same thing as Home Depot.
Yeah, so, but you won't find it. Yeah, but you won't find help outside of Lowe's.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. It was a bad joke.
What?
It was a bad joke. Never mind.
I don't get it.
Lowe's doesn't have Mexicans hanging out there, so you can hire them like Home Depot does.
No, of course not. So what makes it better?
Just see, you took my joke that was semi-racist and you made it completely racist.
That's what I do here. Like, that's why Andre can never be accused of like that. Andre can survive any DEI scrutiny. He'll be like, I did one better. Not only did I hire a Mexican one, the guy can't stand this woke stuff either. So I hired a woke-based Mexican to be the CFO.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Justice for Geo the Rock says for 14 South African rounds, not talking about Penske Media laying off staff. Well, I'm not surprised if they do, but I haven't seen too much of this yet. Penske Media, I mean, they own so much. They own all of the Hollywood traits. Which is kind of like redundant that they own like Deadline Hollywood and either Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, and then they have a bunch of other ones as well, and they all cover pretty much the same ground, so it's really excessive. So I'm not surprised if they have gotten around to firing some staffers, because they have so many that do literally exactly the same thing.
And we would have probably talked a little bit more about it had Culture been here this morning, because he's usually the one that talks about Penske Media and that kind of stuff. But do they even run radio stations and shit anymore? What do they do now? Like, what do they own? Because I know they own a bunch of television stations still, don't they?
Is it the same Penske that has a truck rental?
don't think those are the same company, but they may be. I don't quote me on that.
That's a weird combo. These online
Okay,
properties.
Penske still owns looks like Variety, Deadline, THR, Rolling Stone.
Wow, I really feel sorry for them.
Geez, yeah, I wonder why.
This is what I'm saying. I do not know their full portfolio, but what I do know, they have a lot of people who are writing the exact same stories for different outlets.
Yeah, that's all this is, like Billboard, Vibe, IndieWire.
And these are companies that all should have had different owners, because the risk that you have right now is, one, they're all going to be corrupted because they have the same ultimate owner that can do the same corporate mandates, which indeed is what we see, because all of the outlets we just saw, they're not actually news outlets, they're propaganda outlets. And outlets for the studios. Plus, when they all have the same owner, at some point, if the economy starts getting rough, they can be like, why the hell do we have 10 outlets that do exactly the same thing? Okay, so we have Deadline Hollywood and we have Variety. Maybe we just need one of them and we can shut down the other. They could make it as like that easily.
Do you know what it's called when you can share the same story across multiple properties? What's the name for that?
Synergy.
Woo, there you go.
I didn't realize these were all under Penske. See, I thought THR and Deadline were under different companies, but I guess
no. It's the same thing. That's why it's the exact same angle and everything. It's completely pointless.
Oh yeah, it makes complete sense.
I mean, it's like so annoying every single day. I have to go through all three of them, and it may as well have been one because it's interchangeable. Which publication has which article? It may as well have been.
If they're relying on just the legacy of the brand, it's not within it's fairly easy to programmatically feed all the online properties from one source, and then they reconfigure and redesign themselves or using style sheets to look like that particular online zine. So we've programmed that ourselves like years ago. Where
I was going to say most of these people are probably being replaced by AI, but yeah,
it's almost like the radio stations now, where one person will be a DJ at five different radio stations. It's just one DJ. That's actually been the death of radio.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, because Penske used to own a bunch of radio stations too, and that's basically what you're saying, Paul. Is it was like a satellite version of it.
Yeah. And
you were lucky if your morning drive and your afternoon drive were live guys, but even now it's gotten to the point where those are even syndicated shows.
And
you'll have some dude come in at like very once in a while, go, your weather's 82 degrees, partly cloudy, chance of rain, and the score last night was the Brewers 6 and the Athletics 12. And that's it. Like, and then it goes right back to the same shit.
Yeah, back to Cindy and Lou.
No school cancellations.
That's right. That's right. There's going to be a snow in July.
And he doubles as a janitor.
That's right.
No, because that was happening already when I was working, is they were starting to get a lot of these satellite feeds coming in. Well, that was part of my job, was just pushing buttons to get the satellite feed to go through.
Well, the DJ, with regards to even the traffic report, they would be sent the traffic report, and they would say it. They'd be working in Wisconsin out of their home, and they're talking, they're basically representing an LA radio station. Oh, that'd be too big. But you know what I mean? It's
well, what we would get is, like, for a better example, is the weather guy. Like, he would call like all 30 or 40, like basically the same info would be sent to 30, 40 of the same stations from the same guy. It would literally be his same sound bite that would play every half hour. This is so-and-so from the Channel 8 Weather Center to tell you your news, your weather. And that was the same thing every 30 minutes we'd have to play it. Yeah.
Yes. And we can thank Bill Clinton for completely destroying the music industry.
In what way? Because of the
He's
he
the one.
signed some kind of deal that enabled this.
Yes, he's the one
Okay,
who
that's what I was
allowed.
figuring.
Yeah, Clear
Yeah.
Channel. He's the one.
Clear Channel, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's the one that signed the bill that allowed for the Clear Channels and the Sinclairs of the world to buy up
Sinclair, yes.
to buy up all the ma and pa stations in the world, where literally you, like, for instance, I've told the story. Rush became famous in the United States because a DJ in Cleveland loved him.
Well, and
That's never going. It's not going to happen anymore.
Well, and it used to be like then this was changing as I come in, and that would make sense because it was right at the tail end of Clinton's era. Because it used to be certain laws and stuff. Like we had to cover like certain weather and other local things.
Yeah.
Like it was required. Like it's not like whether we want to or not, right? Because we're the radio station and that's our job. And that's why I keep griping about like not being able to get terrestrial television free anymore like I used to so easily, right? To where I could just put a decent antenna on top of my house or up somewhere high, and I could usually pull in 3 or 4 snowy channels. Now with digital, I can't pull in shit, right? So I'm stuck with either internet or cable or nothing. And yeah, anyway,
or move.
Yeah, or move. Yeah, exactly. And even people that live in some of these bigger cities are complaining they can't even get some of the digital channels in.
Oh, for sure, because of all the reflection coming off the buildings. But It's too bad. It's too bad that, the amalgamation of all this radio really has had repercussions to this day.
Absolutely. Packing Proton sends in 5 and says, how to trigger Mike. Universal building Melmac and Elf meet and greets. Ha 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 ha. Bring your cat. I think Mikey actually stepped away for a minute. So he dodged that bullet. He'll come back yelling at you, though. Packing Proton sends in 5 and says, I also saw on Reddit, supposedly ABC has first interview and debate rights for political things.
Yeah. Well, for this political thing, yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Tennille, who says, with 5, to Andre's point about Disney's lack of an actual board, this is how I was doing so well. This is how a major company dies in the name of ego.
Yeah.
Well, Larry Ellison is a very powerful president, and I'm not entirely certain that he's got I'm fairly certain that he has a compliant board. I'd like a few dollars to build the largest yacht in the world for myself, please.
Were you going to say
Yeah,
something?
but if he performs well enough that the board agrees, you know what, we shall agree because you have done so good by the shareholders.
Yeah,
that's a different matter entirely. And a happy board and representing happy shareholders would go along with that. But the thing with Disney is that the shareholders aren't represented, and they have no idea what's going on because they do not have any representatives on the board.
Oh, someone's crunching.
I think that was Mike.
Mike is crunching.
What's happening?
Oh, you got your phone too close to the microphone, brother.
What about now?
You're fine.
Oh, it's all good.
You're fine now. Or you bumping your mic cord.
Wait, what about now?
You're fine now.
You're fine.
It was just when you were clicking there, it was something happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a loud keyboard.
No, I think it was Mike's phone or bumping his
earlier.
Mic.
Hey, I'm not a YouTuber. You're gonna get you in a Mexican.
I'm still not wholly convinced that Paul's coming through the correct microphone, but anyhow.
Me?
Yeah.
Don't I sound okay?
Well, maybe it's just because it was that far away, because now you're sounding a little better.
Well, maybe I needed to be closer to the
because we're just getting a lot of reflection from the room, that's all.
Okay, there you
go.
yeah,
much better, much better.
There
now
you
you
go.
sound like you're...
There we go.
Now you're on the air, my friend. Now you're on the air.
Sorry, I was...
you got to eat that microphone. You got to give
not this
it
one.
love.
Not this one. That's why I got it. I don't have to eat it, but I should have it close. Next time I do your show, I'll bring it up closer. My apologies.
Always remember, in radio, the rule is
that's right. That's right. Be very close to the microphone, ladies.
You want to hear your nostrils. Anyway,
I need room to gesticulate.
Gesticulate. Can you say that on the air?
Yeah.
My brother had gesticular cancel once. Accident Seller sends in 20 Norwegian. Crota says, read Dustborn. Dust means moron in Norwegian. So, womp womp.
Yes, it's actually true. Dust does mean. And
what is born?
Norwegian. So, yeah.
Because born's at the end of a lot of things. What does that mean?
That'd be the last name of someone. Like, it could have been Dust Bjorn.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, just BORN in Norwegian doesn't actually mean anything.
Right. And
So
do
it means idiot born.
so do you have
Or
Bjorn?
moron born, I mean, sorry.
In Norwegian is Bjorn
Yes,
a name?
yes, we do. We do.
So
we
there
do
you go.
have the
See?
name Bjorn. Yeah.
Yeah, Dust Bjorn.
But it's there's a J in there,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not an O, it's an Ö.
Yeah.
But yes, but no. If you were to retain the first half of that word you see on screen in Norwegian, and keep the other one in English, then yeah, it would be born an idiot.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah,
there we
yeah,
go. There we
yeah.
go. Dust Bjorn.
Dust Bjorn. He's an idiot.
Yes,
Yes, he is born a moron. Now I got
Never do full moron.
Never go full moron.
Never go full moron.
Hopefully, Grumps will be able to join here. Then maybe we can talk some Dust.
New Crow remake
Yeah.
went full moron.
Yeah, I'm not going to be playing the game just for the sake of it. I am watching. I'm going to be signing off, but I have started watching Murders in the Building season 4.
Oh, how's that going?
Good. It's a lot of guest stars.
Is that movie coming out have anything to do with that, or is that something completely different? I think that I saw.
I don't know. Only Murders in the Building movie,
or something like that, or maybe it was just a preview for this new season. That could have been.
Yeah, and I'm getting through the.
Is it was something about them turning their podcast into a movie? Is that part of this season?
That I haven't seen yet,
or a show or something like that. Maybe that's what. So
probably. No, it's a fun show. I love watching them perform, and they've got a good television gig. I mean, you know what remember I talked about rinse and repeat. Someone gets murdered, then they solve it. That's what TV wants, right? That's it. It's Murder, She Wrote, but with a bunch of old guys and a Mexican and a Spanish girl. Isn't she Mexican?
She's Disney.
She's Disney. Yes, you're right.
That supersedes her being Mexican.
I like her. I like her a lot. People dump on her, but I think she's a sweetheart. So
no, I think she's fine. She's actually going to be playing Linda Ronstadt, I heard.
Well, she has the pipes for it.
She has a face for it too. Like they have very similar facial features. So yeah, not a bad
choice.
So yeah, you leaving us is what you're saying now?
I gotta leave. I got a company to run.
All right, let me double check. There's nothing for you. I don't think there was any more specific to you, but yeah, I think we can handle the rest. Thank you for being here, Paul.
Oh no, thanks for having me on Wednesday. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you here as well. So yeah, everyone make sure to check out Paul's channels. Links are in the description. Anything in particular you want to plug on the way out the door?
Later on today, I might have a Call Me Chato video which visits my overextended ego. A visit with Paul's large ego is what the next video is going to be.
I survived mine for 4 or 5 days.
Yes, that's correct. My massive ego. That's right.
Paul, I had my second golf lesson.
And how did it go?
Well, the first one, by the end of the first one, I was confident that I could take you out. In fact, I came on this show and told you that I just had it and I could take you out. And you're very sweet. And then I went out and practiced on my own. Total train wreck.
That's what happens.
Total train. Then I had my second lesson. And what we've learned is that my putting game is at least passable.
Is that what your girlfriend said?
Really? My short game is my good game, Paul? Is that what you're saying? Paul, is that what Tom's saying?
That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, my short game is great.
I may be tired.
My long game needs some work.
But that doesn't mean I still ain't quick.
It takes a lot of effort. I'm always practicing. Anyways, gentlemen, good luck on your golf practices.
Take care, Paul.
I look forward to taking you on next year, Mike.
Yeah, I will be ready. I will at least be ready for us to engage in. Our plan is this. Our plan is that on the first day that you get here, we're gonna do we'll do one course, and then the last day that you're here, we're gonna do the sister course, which because I'm a member, they give me 2 courses now, so we can do the sister course down the way.
It sounds great. Heavens, if I get bored.
But
of
since I'm a
golf course.
minority, I get 40 DEI strokes.
Okay.
You should call a doctor.
Or get
Paul,
some
before you
equity
leave,
Yes, Tom.
what do you think about Beetlejuice not being woke?
I heard. I don't know whether it is or not, but I'm happy to hear that it's not. I'm
According
predicting.
to Michael Keaton, it's not.
No, I'm predicting big things for the movie. I think it's slotted perfectly. It has no other competition.
It is. So thank you for being here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second.
Okay.
But, I just wanted to grab your 2 cents.
No, I think it's great. I love Michael Keaton. I think he's a far better actor.
Did you see the clips from Hot Ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not Hot Ones. I saw
you didn't?
No, I've seen the most recent. You know what? Hot Ones has become one of the best ways to promote a movie.
Well, yeah, he Michael Keaton and Beetlejuice, or I think they're going to release a full version of it, but they released a clip of it.
As he was as Beetlejuice. He did
at both. Yeah.
Oh wow! No, I didn't see.
If I can find it here real quick, just so I can show you a bit.
Sure.
Of it.
Yeah.
It'll probably get. We can't show too much of it, but yeah.
Yeah, let's not. I mean, we can get
show
way
a
too
picture.
much.
Well, hi. First of all, welcome to the show.
He's got great
How long
skin.
is it going to take? I got to get to the spa. Wow. Okay.
Oh, he says
What are
both
some
the.
of your
Yeah, he's both of them.
influences? Well, Napoleon was a pal.
One of the funniest
Keeper,
things.
of course, for obvious reasons. Caligula was a wild man. Am I going to say that?
Yeah, so he's doing the whole bit. Yeah.
One of the funniest things I heard at the very beginning when news came out, they went, "Wow, man, he's aged a lot between the two movies." I went, "Yeah, he's supposed to look like shit in the first movie, and he looks even shittier now." Like of all the people to complain about aging, it's been as an actor playing him as Beetlejuice. Really? Yeah. That Michael Keaton isn't going to be able to accommodate it.
Well, the thing is weird about Michael Keaton is he had like this baby fat in his face until about 1990-ish, something. And then all of a sudden he's looked like this ever since.
Yeah,
like,
and his skin. It's clearly his skin has just been babied. And anyway, so I think this will be good.
You sure you're okay? Yep. Because I have a question for you. Who the hell are you?
Anyway, yeah, so he leaves. Yeah, so that looks like it's gonna be fun.
I look forward to it. Talk to you later, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for joining.
As you can tell from that clip, it's not very PC. Yeah.
Nope.
So yeah, that was one of our other stories we had. Burton has been talking a little bit about it. Michael Keaton's come out and talked about it. Of course, it's the big movie opening this next week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I saw the clip that is going around. I don't even know if that's supposed to be out there. I sent it to you this morning, Andre. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I skimmed it.
Yeah, but basically it gives you Beetlejuice's origin story, which was kind of, I don't know. What do you think about it?
No, it seems interesting. Like, I was interested in the movie either way. I'm not like a massive fan of Beetlejuice or anything. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I liked it as a kid growing up. I mean, I liked the cartoon. I liked the original film. I've seen it about 1 billion times. My dad was more of a fan of Beetlejuice than I was. So I'm curious. He hasn't said anything about this new one yet. I'm surprised. But so, Mikey, what'd you think? Did you see the clip yet or no? I think Mikey's working. Or he's frozen. I think he's frozen. Mikey's frozen, kids. Like a caveman in time.
Well, we've certainly had our share of tech issues done between the two of you today.
Yeah, it has been just one of those mornings. But yeah, no. Even Tim Burton said he's not. He did not go out of his way to try and make the movie. Let's see, there he went. PC or woke or whatever the term was he used. So yeah, that's kind of a good thing, I guess. to a point. Hopefully it stays true. From what I've seen so far, it appears to be the case. But I'm sure it's going to open big. So they're looking at like 80 million. But with that, I guess Andre didn't have much more to say on it than that. And
Not really. No, I can just. I need to see the movie first. But yeah, no, it looks cool.
say, don't tell me you haven't seen the first one of this one either.
Oh, I have seen it. I've seen it, but I'd have to rewatch it. I have seen it though, but it's like a movie that I just can't seem to remember. Other than bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, Tennille says with $10. Wait a minute, or a moment. Sorry, I just thought I thought
I can read it. Wait a moment. Yeah. I just thought I'd of a disturbing parallel. Okay, it's not just your fault. Wokies have a tendency to wipe away past progress and declare it all to be their own. Yes, that's what the freaking Pol Pot did as well. Yes, this is what commies do. They take problems that have already been solved, reinvent them, and then claim that they are the only ones with the solution. This is standard playbook. So, yes, correct. Pol Pot did exactly the same thing. That's playbook for you right there. And Samuel Main has been a member for 5 months, and we're glad to have you. And Tennille also clarifies, typos, pardon, not making Tom's job easier. My bad. Yeah, you can say that again.
Well, and I'm actually kind of glad that Tennille brought this up, because I don't think you've had a chance to see this real quick. This was something I stumbled upon the other day, and I've been sharing this around because I found it very poignant. And you may even find a spot where we can use it in a video at some point.
Oh, I'm interested. Let's hear this.
But it goes right into the point we're making here, and that is how you said that basically these progressives are making everything regressive.
Yes, correct. Right. They are reinventing old conflicts and erasing the cures that were. So let's hear what he's saying.
Okay, so just so you know what they're talking about here, this is from 1988. Okay. They're talking about Mississippi Burning. Are you familiar with that film, Gene Hackman? About
I have never seen it. I know of it.
Okay, so you know what it's about, basically civil rights,
roughly.
All that stuff. Yeah, okay.
Strange thing is that when some of the Vietnam movies came out a few years ago, like Platoon, the prime movie-going generation, which is, let's say, between 17 and 25, were really not familiar firsthand with the Vietnam War at all. It's the same with the civil rights movement.
No question.
I went to see this movie to screenings, and people were walking out saying, were things really like that, in America? And I'm saying, this was so recently that the cars are still on the road. This was 24 years ago. That's how much things have changed. People need to know that.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if you get the point of what he's saying there, but it's kind of like we had progressed that far by 1988 from the point where the civil rights movement had begun, to where kids didn't even believe walking out of Mississippi Burning, or they couldn't fathom that things were that bad, that racism was that rampant and accepted. That's how progressive we were already in 1988.
Yeah, that's kind of like the point. The 1988 is in the middle of a time period where things were changing, and you kind of already were on the other side of it. Whereas what they are doing right now, at least from where I'm standing, is that they are reinventing old conflicts, making them current when they haven't been for 50 years.
Yeah, we had come a long way, and we just went right back down that hole. And now you literally got black people going out there, well, we need segregated schools.
Well, some black people.
Well, not all of them, but I'm just saying, like, you literally, but you have them.
I'm not even the majority, but
no. But yes, the point being is, like, this was the type of rhetoric that was coming from the racist, folks back during the civil rights movement.
Yes, correct.
And it's just switched sides and color, and it's insane to me. And when I saw that the other day, I'm like, holy shit. This proves exactly what I've said for years, right? Because when I was in school, this kind of stuff was never even talked about. Like, it wasn't a big deal if a kid was not white or vice versa. Like, I never understood this shit. Like, I never talked about race with my black friends, right? Like it was never a thing until the last few years. Same thing about sexual orientation. Yeah, sure. We had a few guys and friends like we know you're gay, and then a few years later they'd marry a guy, and we told you, but that was about it, right? Like it wasn't like a big deal. I don't get it. Now they're making it about everything. It's all about race. It's all about your sexuality and this and that and the other. And
well, that's how you destroy a nation from within.
Yeah. Let's keep moving along here. Thank you for that, Tennille. I was glad you brought that up because I've been wanting to show that to Andre, so now he finally got to see it.
Yeah.
Terry Ike sends in a member chat for 13 months. That's just over a year. Thank you for that. Tommy Reviews says with $2, Bandai also owns Namco and Sunrise Studios. So yes, this would be the Bandai I'm thinking of then. So yeah, they have a lot of American connections. Welcome back, Mike. We can't.
You guys kicked me out because of my views on diversity. They were too controversial.
Probably that or the internet did it just because. I don't know what happened to you, but you disappeared.
I don't either. Like my whole screen went it went blink, blink, and then everything just froze.
You froze, yeah. You were like this. You weren't moving. You were just like.
At least I wasn't like this.
That would have been funny. I would have laughed at that. Amtrak actually is making bank on train services, STR Red Wolf, but as said before, we need more infrastructure. That said, RIP Megabus USA, so long, $5 bus fares. I never really took a long bus ride anywhere besides like a school bus. I ain't done shit, Mike. I was on a plane for the first time like 5 years ago.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I'll get you out this year.
Oh, I got to come out there. That is definitely in the plans soon.
I was thinking about inviting you for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
I'm getting so pissed off that everybody else gets to meet you before I do.
You haven't even heard the latest, have you?
CC's there. Or he's going to be there.
I'm working on getting CC and Price at the same time.
You fucker. I should be there then. Yeah. ActionCom sends in 5 and says, what they call taking a Greyhound bus? Riding the Dog. See the documentary with the same name. Yes, that is true. ActionCom says, Andre, would Riding the Dog make a good metal band name? At least the Swedish one.
Riding the Dog. Ri hunden. No, I don't think that would make a good metal band at all. That would make like a good name for a parody. No, actually, it wouldn't even. No, it would not make a good name for anything.
All I picture is you got to be pretty small to be able to ride a dog.
Unless you have a very big dog. If you have like a Great Dane or something, which qualifies as a small horse, but yeah.
I think that's the point. Chris Williams sends in 20 and says, Jay Penske Media, is the son of Roger Penske, racing automotive guy. So maybe there is some connection. I wasn't sure on the trucking part, though. Oh, Paul Chato. Damn it, he's gone, says Mr. Tickletongue. Yeah, he left. He's got business to run. Accident Seller sent in 20 Norwegian Cronin says, Andre, remember Derek? He and Harry was so cool.
Derek is awesome. Yeah, that's a German police procedural that took place in München. That's Munich for you all. And that was like sent on German TV from the 60s all the way up until the 90s. And it was popular in Norway too. Yeah, Derek was a super cool series. I wish that they would put the whole thing out on Blu-ray, other than just like a select season here and a select season there on DVD. Let's not let that entire series get lost, because it was super cool. So yeah, I do remember Derek. Awesome theme music as well. And for any Germans who may be listening, yes, that would be Kommissar Derek.
Commissar's in town. Uh-oh. What? Tennille89 says, Andre, remember Arch pronounced Bjorn phonetically as Björn. Is that just personal preference, or is it different term to context?
No, actually, and Tom, you actually nailed that. The way that Tennille put that there, you said that 100% correct. Björn is the correct way of pronouncing it, because the Norwegian alphabet, same as the Danish, goes on a little bit after the English, and one of the letters that we have is an O with a line through, like the forbidden sign, which is pronounced This is the same as in German and Swedish. The O with the two dots on top of it, same thing.
Yeah.
And it is actually pronounced Björn, and it means bear. So there's no different context. It's nothing personal preference. That is how it's pronounced. So both the name and the animal is the same thing, Björn. So the people who are called Björn, they're literally named after the animal, and you'd pronounce it exactly the same.
No, honestly, after a few drinks, I could probably sound pretty German or Swedish, or maybe even Norwegian. Otherwise, I'd be one of those people like you'd be like torturing me, be like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden I just start speaking in the language because I remember from when I was younger.
Yeah,
Hurty birdie, hurty mur. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that to Neil. We also have Jesus Davila sending in a thumbs up to let you know if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, you should. And all those latecomers, hit that thumbs up as well if you haven't yet. We appreciate that here. ActionCom says, Tom, I know you're tired, but if you ever want a job as a Disney Hall of President robot, I'll give you a reference. Well, thank you for that. I don't know which president I would be because my voice box is not working today. Accident Seller sends in 50 Norwegian crony and says, oh, balls. What
he's saying is Odeon på Storo flott kino, fancy bar og greier I andre etasje. Jeg så Romvesen Romulus der forrige uke.
I understand some of this.
Yeah.
He went to the cinema with a bar in it and he saw Romulus, Alien Romulus. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay.
Last week.
Did he go with his sister?
With someone else, yes.
And the Puerto Rican girl wouldn't give him the phone number.
God
that could very well be, but he did say that he withheld that particular detail.
Oh, yeah.
What's the last thing? Billiseft. What's that?
And that has to be some kind of Norwegian movie because I have literally no idea what that is a reference to because I'm not in Norway and I haven't been in Norway I was there once in May, but I haven't been in Norway for more than a year. So I have no idea what Billisoft is. I can only imagine it must be some Norwegian movie that I've missed out on so far.
Hurty-gurty birdie. Oh, there you go. Looks like you got to look that up. Shadow Dancer, the Red Mage, has been a member for 23 months. Says, I remember grade school in the 70s, even 10 years past the riots, the isms were a non-issue. Exactly. ActionCom says with $2, ever see the movie Silver Streak with Gene Wilder? Yes, where he does blackface. Yes, I have it actually. I had to import the Blu-ray because it's out of print. That's one of the tougher ones to get. You guys ever seen that one? It's on a train. That's probably why he brought it up. It was a kind of a mystery / dramedy, but it was the first time Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor worked together, and their magic was obvious. Accident Seller sends in 20 Norwegian kroner and says, Beetle.
Of course, yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Right away. Of course, if you take the name Beetle and you translate it to Norwegian, then it actually would be Billisoft. Yeah.
Is that what you guys call him over there then?
No.
What is he called over there?
Name. Otherwise, I would have connected it right away.
Yeah.
He did give me a hint though that I now realize because he had also translated Alien to Romvesen, so I missed the hint. So yeah, it's I probably need that copy as well. I was also up late working on that video.
Indeed. And then we've got Action Comic says Disney had to shut down the Hall of Presidents for a while because the Biden robot kept falling over.
That's so mean.
Oh, Lord, that's funny.
It's funny because it's true.
He kept falling up the stairs.
Sad, but yeah.
Who put these steps here? Anyway, with that, what else did we have today, Andre? Was there?
No, I think we are pretty much caught up here.
Yeah. So with that, Mikey, what you got going on? You going to be on Doomcocks later?
Is today Wednesday?
Yes. It is.
Oh my God, I'm so far behind.
And if I'm not sleeping, I did promise him I'd try to sneak in there.
All right. Yeah.
Because he had me on Friday night for a few minutes.
Yeah, Wednesday, Doomcock.
It is.
Yeah, I've been working so hard the last week and a half. I'm losing track of days.
Yeah. Oh, and you saw the Gene Wilder biopic. Oh, I loved it, Darth Maul. My problem was it was so short.
It was
It
short.
left
I
out
saw that.
so
I saw that
much.
myself. It was outstanding.
There's some great stuff in there. Like that's the one I was telling you guys about where I learned that Gene Wilder had pretty much rewritten See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And he started with Richard Pryor's part because he knew a lot about because he worked with a bunch of blind people, and his future wife was one of the head people at this blind institute. So he knew all this, so he wrote that part first. But yeah, that's an amazing documentary. I'm just sad that it's not longer. Right? That's what pissed me off about the Sly one, Andre. I'm like, why does Schwarzenegger get like 3, like hour-long parts, and Sly gets stuck with like a 90-minute documentary? I'm like, they barely even got into his career.
Part of it would be that there's a little bit more to say.
Maybe. Well, my problem with the Schwarzenegger one, and I'll be honest with you, is it gets boring when you get to his politics.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
That whole last one, you could have just done without.
And it's the same thing with reading his book and everything. What's the super cool is when he starts from nothing and he conquers the world. That's the super interesting thing. And then when he has conquered the world, and it's like now it's no longer interesting. But this is kind of like what I mean. Like I can see why you can argue with the editing and what they chose to highlight, but if you compare the lives of Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and I always grew up a bigger fan of Schwarzenegger, but I think in retrospect I may be a bigger fan of Stallone. But still, if you just list of all of their events and their successes and the barriers breached in both of their lives, both of them are super duper impressive, and none of us will ever be able to hold the candle to either of them. But very few men in world history will be able to hold the candle next to Schwarzenegger.
No, and that's fair, but it felt like Sly just got really shafted. And yeah, Mecha J brought up the Christopher Reeve documentary. Have you guys seen the trailer for that yet?
Yes, and I bought a ticket to the local showing on the 21st already.
Oh wow, it comes out September 21st. Oh,
yeah,
I might have to try and see if I can see that too. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nerds with sweaty eyelids that day. Very sweaty eyelids.
The greatest. That is the greatest. To me, that is my favorite score of all movies of all time.
Ditto. Well, not only that, Superman is one of the first things I remember, right? And Christopher Reeve being Superman is one of the first things I remember.
Wait, you weren't even born yet.
No, I wasn't. So when I came into the world, he was Superman. But I'm just saying, one of my first things I remember as a child vividly is watching Superman 2 on television.
Wow.
And seeing for the first time, Christopher Reeve run across and pull his, suit open with that S and that music swell, as you just said, and seeing him fly, it just blew my fucking mind, and, He-Man and all that stuff comes from that moment. That's the moment I remember first in my brain. Like one of my earliest memories. And I remember because I was aware of Superman, right? And my mom sat me down and she's like, you can sit down, you're gonna watch this. I'm like, okay. To me, Superman was always a cartoon because I'm sure Super Friends and stuff like that was always on. But I remember that distinctly because I'm like, no, that's not a cartoon. That's a real guy. That is Superman. So until I even understood what movies were, he was Superman. Like he was literally flying. He was doing that was fucking Superman to me. The real guy. Like in my world, Superman was a real guy until I was like 4, 5, 6 years old to be able to understand and comprehend the difference between reality and television and movies and all that stuff. So yeah, no, that movie, this documentary, is going to hit hard for a lot of folks. Andre, did you see the trailer for it?
No, but I did see that you showed it on Toxic Femininity, which promptly got blocked because of it.
Probably. I told the ladies they got to pause it. They're insistent on that stuff. They want to watch the stuff. Okay. Tell them that.
That's where Andre thinks I'm going to have to monitor every live stream.
Well, he tells us to try to avoid that stuff, but I do the best I can. The ladies are real tough to say no to. You know how that is, Mike.
Yeah. Can you imagine if I were running Toxic Femme for like 3 or 6 months? Woof.
Oh fuck, that show would be a
I
disaster.
would be getting a call. Mike, whatever you are doing now, put your shirt back on.
And why are there constant videos of men doing naked yoga showing up in the claims? That would
I
probably
would make a change for the claims, and boy, there's a lot of them. So yeah,
because Mikey would be just like, yeah, do whatever you want. Jason Webster says, I hope Beetlejuice does well. I think it will. I don't think it ever wasn't going to. I think the second and third weekend depend on the word of mouth, though. And from what I've seen so far, it looks pretty good. But I've been really kind of... I've had this theory for a while that Tim Burton just ain't the same guy. And honestly, I think he's realized that too, because just as we were talking here, this story dropped. Well, actually dropped a couple hours ago, but I just saw it as we were talking here a little bit ago about the Beetlejuice stuff, where Tim Burton said, I sort of lost myself for a bit. So for me, this movie was re-energizing. See, that makes me feel good, because I've had this theory that Tim Burton just hasn't been the same director since Mars Attacks, basically, because he only really has 1 or 2 good movies post that. And otherwise, he's just pretty much going through the motions, doing it for the paycheck. And I think it's between Mars Attacks not performing, being such a personal film to him. And that happens to a lot of directors when they have a very personal film that doesn't perform. From there on out, they're just kind of going through the motions. And maybe, just maybe, this is how we get Tim Burton back. Because it's been a while since we had a good Tim Burton movie. Because otherwise, you look at his resume. Since Mars Attacks, it's mostly been sequels, remakes, stuff like that, reboots, whatever you want to call them. Because I consider that Alice in Wonderland movie more of a sequel than a remake. But yeah. Well, what do you guys think? I know Andre, we already asked him a little bit about it. But Mikey, I think you didn't get to say much about Beetlejuice. Are you looking forward to it?
I talked about Midnight's Edge After Dark about a month
ago. But
right.
What do you think for this audience now?
No, I'm not a fan. I didn't like the first movie, so... No.
All right.
No, I didn't like the first movie and never liked it. Always thought it was stupid. It's like, it's not. I'm not saying it's up there with Alf, but it's not far behind.
Yeah, and I'm not trying. Honestly, B-Man, I've been the one who's been kind of like, no, I don't know about this movie, and all because of Tim Burton. Accident Sellersons and 20 Norwegian Cronin says Terminator 0 tomorrow. Get ready for Judgment Day, but that comes out tomorrow on the Netflix.
I will check it out. Look forward to it. Hope for the best.
It's a good thing I've got that and so shark, because I'm not giving Netflix all that money. No, I'm just kidding. No, I got to sign back up for Netflix eventually here. I hate doing it, but yeah. So yeah, that comes out tomorrow. It looks all right. I'm not totally sold yet on the anime part of it, but why does everything got to be anime now?
Because it's cheaper.
Is it though?
Well, for something like Terminator, that requires a certain budget to do right.
As a movie, but I mean, okay, let me rephrase it. Why is everything, when they're doing these animated things, that using the style of anime, like Rohirrim movie coming out, and now Terminator, and
because there aren't any proper talented animation studios left in the States.
Yep.
Fair enough.
All the American, we got corrupted by the what was it called? Our School of Art, the Cal Art School.
Yeah,
the B-face shit.
When that came in, what happened is that derailed. So classic animators are dead or dying, or they can't be hired because they're pale and male and blah blah blah. But with the Cal Arts introduction to Cal Arts, I saw this. That what that did then is it just reoriented a total generation towards the sucky crappity crap that we've been stuck with the last decade or two. So
well, that answers that question.
You and I love, Tom, because you and I have the same exact taste generally about this stuff. It's ancient. It's gonna be ancient history.
Yeah, it feels like it. All right. Well, with that, I guess it's time to wrap things up. We got through all the super chats. Let me double check on the Rumble rants here quick. I think we're good. No movement in the mod group, so I think we're good. Thanks so much, guys. Mikey, anything you got going on besides Doomcock? No, we already did that. Andre, anything else going on? You got a video I know you're working on.
Yeah, I do. I'm working on a video about Dustborn. That should be a real hoot, especially since for those that you have that have followed it, you know that Dustborn, that game, is actually Norwegian made, and not only that, it is funded through official Norwegian channels. So what is up with that? I cannot promise the video will be ready for tomorrow because I have some sources in Norway that I'm waiting to hear back from about exactly what's going on there. But that video should be a real hoot. So yeah.
Interesting. So with that, let's get our buttocks out of here, as they say. I don't know anybody who says that. But yeah, take care of yourselves, kids. And it is time for, as Andre says,
some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koalas in the rain.